We talked about Manneten, we talked about TviQ playing Soldier, but look at this. Looks like Nevix is going to be the one picking it up. So as you're saying, like true to your point, you can maybe expect the compositions, but you can't necessarily expect who's going to be on what.
Yeah. This is different as well. Whenever we've seen Misfits play Hollywood before, it has always been Nevix on the Roadhog. Now, I don't know whether this internally is because they think Nevix is going to have more impact on the Soldier, or whether TviQ has just been hitting amazing hooks recently, or what the thought process is, but looks like this is the composition that Misfits are going to run with. Triple Tank, very popular on defense of Hollywood as well for the first point.
And so Shower Joe here, if you're Cloud9, what kind of comp do you want to run against this necessarily? I'm assuming you had the foresight of knowing what Misfits are going to be defending with.
I'd probably would go dive. You can gain a lot of space, you can push them back off this first choke, and then you can just wait for the opportunity and move in. You can just, on attack, you have all the time in the world. You know, Misfits are already moving backwards, and it's just going to give open the door towards Cloud9.
TviQ had to go back over there, missed his hook onto Gods, who is playing the Genji. He's got one now though, hook Xepher in, large amount of damage, but Misfits are surrounded on all sides as well. That pick on the KAISER is going to be crucial though, and they've almost demeched Xepher. Once the tanks are out of the situation, makes Cloud9 far less scary. They're forced to disengage.
I'd actually like to see kind of Xepher swap. I feel like the D.Va isn't actually going to do as much as possible against the Xayah. There's a lot that can actually get through and of the Matrix, and I feel like actually swapping that up right now would be a good decision rather than leaving it till later.
You can see where Nevix is playing. He's playing on top of the cafe, which leaves him a little bit vulnerable, but it seems like Cloud9 just hasn't been able to rush down this area. And with Surefour going down, it looks like they want to push out immediately here. God's just going to be sitting off to the side, has been spotted out by Nevix, but it looks like no other people can be paying him any attention. Misfits taking like an advantage, like of that one kill, and trying to really pressure Cloud9.
They've chosen to run the Ana on defense here as well, which means that Zebbosai has his nano booster very early. Interested to see which target they use it on. Might be onto Reinforce as he comes in here, but they've got a Dragon Blade in the backlines as well from Gods. Kept alive with the Transcendence there, manages to avoid the hook, but the fight's still breaking out. They've used the nano boost as well.
Yeah, that got eaten.
It was eaten. Graviton was eaten by Xepher there, so great job by him. We talked about the D.Va. I mean, not really too great against Zarya, but if you eat grabs like that, then you can make that one definitely work. Reinforce was able to hit a charge off, as Surefour was just trying to cause a little bit of disruption towards Manneten. You're not allowing him to regroup with his team, but those shields are always going to be there. Speaking of the rest of the team here, Cloud9 is just wiping Misfits off the floor.
Reinforce died with his Earth Shatter available as well. Really difficult to get value out of that. So much damage coming into you. You have to keep your shield up to keep the rest of your team protected. And then the dive comp is split out so much that who do you focus? Where do you try and land that to get value out of it? They've got it for the next stage, but they've, now that they're in the street stage as well, perhaps lacking a bit of verticality as well.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for Misfits to actually get up onto this high ground if they ever get pushed back. If they lose this fight, the second fight on this stage is going to be tough for them.
Luckily for Nevix, is able to get to that position and get on that high ground. The self-destruct's going to come down, and looks like absolutely nothing, but Surefour's getting himself a double, a big double with that pulse bomb. TviQ's trying to come in with the hook, but he's just going to be taken down immediately here. And Cloud9 invests basically 2 ultimates with the self-destruct to outposition Misfits and the pulse bomb out of Surefour to take this fight so easily.
Surefour, the playmaker, what a huge pulse bomb from him. Removes Misfits, and look at the swaps. They've utterly wasted their ultimates. They've just been sent straight back to the bank as Misfits switch up their composition, going for the 2-2-2 and the double hit scan dive comp. Very similar to what Cloud9 are running as well, but not opting for the Genji, instead putting TviQ over on that Tracer. But now they have to work against the high ground. Sound barrier popped as well, but Gods isn't caught in it, and that means there's no Dragon Blade available. But their tanks are already getting pressured. Reinforce forced to back out, but isn't going to survive. Surefour manages to find him, and they've still got a couple of ultimates to work with here as well, Cloud9.
Looks like Manneten actually ate that pulse bomb too out of Surefour, so at least mitigating that one ultimate, but it still seems like the payload should be going the way of Cloud9 and continue to be shoved in. Those Zebbosai with the Zenyatta going to be coming back in. Gods, well, just not using that blade here, and with them actually funneled again into this tight area, into this theater. it can allow him to pick up so many easy kills and only have to commit one ultimate to actually shut down any Misfits defense.
Nice aggressive positioning as well from Cloud9. Make sure they keep up the aggression in the chokes where they know the positioning is going to be so predictable from Misfits as they come through here. Bubble laid down so that Reinforce and the rest of his team can attempt to get in for free, but Nevix, Mineral, Reinforce, they're all dropping like flies. That engagement, they took so much damage just attempting to stall. There's a couple of seconds that are delayed there, but in the end, it's going to be Cloud9 capturing this second checkpoint with relative ease so far in Hollywood.
Yeah, Sharge, I think we can kind of look at the way Misfits actually went about that. This should just be some cleanup kills because of the battery response coming through. But, I mean, Misfits, they ran out there to defend the payload, but they didn't really have they didn't commit any ultimates. I think that was more of like a stagger of time, right?
Well, they played well and they played aggressive on that on second phase where they didn't waste any time trying to force a fight. So that meant they actually got 3 out of it. But Cloud9 only ever committed 2 ultimates to each fight. So the ultimate usage from Cloud9 was excellent.
Here comes the sound barriers. They look to engage again, but the DPS plays have fallen. Cloud9's synergy has been excellent, and again, only having to pop a single ult so far. Roolf's Transcendence has been all they need to take them through, and they haven't really found positioning for Nevix and TviQ to get value out of their ultimates either. TviQ's struggled to land a pulse bomb all game so far after the switch over to Tracer, and Nevix just constantly getting denied from the high ground, having to battle against the Genji Tracer and the D.Va sometimes, so a very difficult situation for all of them. But this is the final checkpoint.
It looks like Roolf just had a lot more freedom where Zebbosai has been constantly pressured on Manneten, getting himself a double against KAISER and Adam, and finally Misfits are going to stave off this bleed that was going against them. They're going to hold this payload a little bit longer, but you have to look at maybe, Shower the attacking plan out of both teams, because I feel like, KAISER, Gods, and Surefour have been all over Zebbosai, really controlling him most of this game.
Yeah, they definitely have, but it's worked out to their advantage as well, though, to be able to just control the front line.
They got a couple of ults to work with here, both teams with decent ults. This could be the point at which Misfits stabilizes. At the end of the day, if you give up the payload all the way to here and are still able to hold them out, that's not too bad on Hollywood. So crunch time here for Cloud9 to see if they can break through. Again, another sound barrier coming out from Adam. They're going to move forward, focusing down these DPS targets immediately, but Reinforce has got them battered into a corner. Stop bullying him. Poor Xepher.
Self-destructors come through just to keep him alive here. Now Zebbosai again going to be focused down on by KAISER, and somehow Zebo's going to stay alive off the back of the help of his teammates. He gets himself another right click on a Surefour. Now a minute and 40 remain. The payload is getting ever so close to actually finishing this one off. The Misfits will hold on yet again here. Zebbosai picking himself up, practically a triple kill in that fight. And it looks like the engagement of Cloud9 just did not work out. I think Zebo's Transcendence there really helped them.
2 important ultimates used, but Cloud9 invested a couple of their own, and now they've made some switches. What do you think of switching in the final area of Hollywood?
It's definitely a good choice. It's very difficult to actually push through on this last point. It's such a long distance that Soldier and Zen can shoot down that having the Reinhardt shield and the D.Va Matrix is really, really strong and really helps you actually get to the car and then force a fight before you've lost half your health.
Fast engage coming in from Misfits here as they pop up their own sound barrier. Both teams using that ult to engage rather than playing reactively with it. But Misfits didn't get too many picks out of that. Managed to find Gods, who's switched over to the Roadhog. Deny any potential for a hook happening. Nice tank focus here from Misfits as Xepher overextends and they immediately demech and kill him. Resetting the time a little bit, 40 seconds now, Jason.
You can see Misfits though. I mean, this is not the first time that they've engaged a fight just really quickly with the help of a speed boost out of Mineral, just to force it to catch Cloud9 off guard. Obviously, it's a lot easier to be the one attacking than to stave off an attack coming your way and being forced to defend against it. Because you can control when you fight, you can control the position of the other players of the enemy team. Not to try to maintain some sort of high ground presence here. Attack bars are coming out of Nevix towards the back, so it can be mitigated by Xepher for the most part, whether it's his body or the defense matrix. It's going to be enough. Surefour picks up that kill. Now Reinforce has Promo Rage ready to go, and they're able to get some crucial kills with Roolf going down.
It turned all of their eyes just for a second. Adam with another sound barrier, but they're fighting into really fast defensive spawns, and Reinforce has his Primal Rage up. We're now going to be certainly into overtime. A couple of picks going their way. Cloud9 have still got this Earth Shatter to use as well. KAISER's really been pressured for now, but there goes an Earth Shatter. Oh, huge.
Oh my lord, he blocks it in the millisecond with his own shield projector coming down. He gets the better of KAISER, and it looks like Misfits are going to hold on to this final push here. What great individual play there at the end.
We were talking about the Reinhardt v. Reinhardt matchup there, but obviously reinforces.
Look at that smile.
He's
He
right
knows.
inside
He
the head.
knows he did it.
Looking at the camera, he knows exactly what he did. But completely denied KAISER's playmaking ability there. And that's what they need to do if they want to hold on. They expended so much time in that final defense. It was still a decent push for Cloud9, but having not completed, they've set themselves a winnable condition here for Misfits' attack.
I think what saved Misfits was actually their aggression in the last point. They did manage to stabilize the snowball from Cloud9, and then they were able to take initiative and actually push forward and take fights on their own terms.
I mean, we have to be fair. Like, even though the end Misfits did stabilize, they got absolutely wrecked in the second phase. Like, there's no doubt about that. You can't even question whether or not they did well in that position.
And really the first as well. I mean, they held on for a single fight, but the aggression came out, and really their players have been neutralized. TviQ and Nevix have been shut down. It seems like Cloud9 have really been focusing the DPS targets, whereas Misfits have been aiming to remove the tanks from the situation, really try and nullify the space creation of KAISER and Xepher.
And I really want to give credit to the Misfits, just to we'll have a dance party first of all, but just to have the discipline to switch off heroes like that, considering they had what was like 3 ultimates they gave away in second phase after they lost that first fight because they weren't able to hold the choke.
I think it was a smart decision. I think they went for one push. They had the ultimates, try and force something quickly, and then knew that if that fight goes well or not, doesn't matter whether you use your ult or not. Just swap. Let's change it up. And then you know, whilst they did lose the next 2 fights, they were able to give themselves enough time to build up the ultimates and actually stabilize in the 3rd point.
Cloud9 going for the triple tank on defense as well.
Is this gonna happen, Sideshow?
No.
Are we gonna have Reinhardt v. Reinhardt? Are we having reinforced up against KAISER?
With the classic Hanzo Zarya combo as well? Or is that just to check things out? Oh no, TviQ over on the D.Va. I heard rumors that TviQ would be on D.Va. Apparently he's got some incredible set ultimates to use. So this should be really interesting. Seems almost strange that you would put such a high impact player onto the D.Va, but we'll see whether Misfits make it work.
Reinforce is trying to get aggressive there. As you can see, just swinging in the face of KAISER, trying to force them back, trying to mostly just get positioning onto this point as the spam and the shield wars come into effect here for both these teams. Nevix going to be on that tracer, looking to potentially flank around towards the back, so maybe catch out a support, but you can see Cloud9, they've grouped up together inside this cafe, but they've given up half control of this point already.
And with Zebbosai falling there, a lot of health removed from the field. They're playing triple tank, but with the Zen, so as soon as his Harmony Orb's taken down, difficult for them. But Nevix has found a pulse bomb onto KAISER, and Manneten's getting pretty close to his Graviton. He can avoid it getting eaten, that could swing the tide of the fight as well, but here comes a nano boost as well. Surefour popping it off with his tactical visor, but reinforced with the Earth Shatter just to completely neutralize him, and the pin, and that's taken out. Misfits in a great position now.
Well, the fight's not over just yet. The Reinforce is on a sliver of HP, probably gonna be healed back up as the Fire Grenade does fade away, and Nevix getting that kill in a Roolf just shuts down any sort of healing coming from the direction of Cloud9. KAISER's back on point, but he doesn't really have the backup there to really do much about this. He has no healing. He's gonna go down, and it looks like Misfits eventually will take this point in their first attack.
And this is looking pretty beautiful for them. Reinforce has built up 75% of his Earth Shatter again. Zebbosai and Manneten both have hugely impactful ultimates. If Manneten can find a good placing for this, and he's got a lot of walls to throw it into now to avoid the defense matrix from Xepher, they could start to get a real snowball going and try and match the same pace that Cloud9 had when they were on attack.
So Showerjo, look where Manneten actually just was, inside the general store, waiting for a Graviton surge. I don't think they're going to expect this one.
Oh, Surefour's just dashed past him though. Surely they will, but it hasn't been eaten. The Graviton comes in. Can they get the follow-up though? The sound barrier used. They've self-destruct up in the air as well. Catches Manneten. The follow-up just simply wasn't there, and they've had to use the Transcendence and the Earth Shatter to try and turn this fight. Could be huge if Cloud9 are able to turn it around here.
Well, it looks like Middle's able to chime in on KAISER to help solidify that kill, at least shut him down in particular, who had his Earth Shatter ready to go, so they know the focus targets they want to hit. And now Cloud9 is just trying to stall for some time, trying to keep this payload contested while those respawns do come back in. Gods and Surefour are going to be going to end together, but also dying in tandem with each other. Surefour will eventually fall here, as he's just still somehow stalling for an extra crucial couple of seconds.
Looked like he should have been able to get the kill on Zebbosai there, but going for the punch in the face rather than the reload, and the Mineral could heal him back up. And Misfits somehow clutched that one as well. It was looking dangerous for them. They had to commit 3 ultimates to it as well, and now KAISER making the switch over.
He had Shatter.
Did he?
Yeah, he had Shatter, and he switched over to Winston as well, so
kind of
realizing
similar
what
to
they
what we saw
need.
Misfits doing. It seems like they're really valuing the Winston to be able to get out of these small chokes towards the end.
especially the high ground control too with Saloon, making sure you can at least take the position away. As now Soundbarrier's going to be coming in. Zebbosai looking to stay healthy and towards the back. Actually going to be focused down by Surefour, who picks up that kill with relative ease. And Manneten, decent amount of charge on him, 30%, but without teammates there to help out, looks like eventually they will fall off here in Cloud and will stabilize and hold on to the second point. So those last second switches coming out working flawlessly.
God's actually got a really good Dragon Blade off there. Even though he didn't get any kills in the kill feed, he popped off his Dragon Blade, forces Mineral to reply with the Sound Barrier, which doesn't catch that many people because he forces it out in a bad position. And then God's is able to put damage on people and they collect the kill onto Zebbosai, and that just snowballs the entire fight. Nevix making a swap off here as well, going for this 2-2-2 composition. What are the crucial things for Misfits to do here, Showergel, in order to take position over Cloud9 when they've got this setup defense?
They need to get high ground. Obviously, you can jump further from there and you set yourself up. You find somebody who's isolated and then you can dive them. If that's support, that's great. Even if it's not, going into a 5v6 is really, really strong.
Pulse bomb laid down, Zebbosai chipped to only 20 health, and God's is going to finish it off with a shuriken to the face. That's again a huge amount of healing. Zebbosai's been picked quite a number of times early on in these fights. Difficult to survive, a pulse bomb being stuck onto you. It's like Misfits are struggling to stabilize here. Loads of ults available for Cloud9 as well that they're not even going to have to expend.
I don't even want to blame Zebbosai in that situation for him dying, because there was 4 of them inside that saloon. And Gods went in by himself, picks up the kill, and then escapes without being killed. Like that should never happen. You should never allow Genshin to go in 1v4 against you guys, pick up a kill and escape. So that shuts down their attack. They're not going to commit any ultimates, obviously, but they're allowing Cloud9 to build up, basically 6 ults here. Surefour at 50%, but I mean, we know how quickly, as a tracer, you can build up an ult.
2 minutes left. Engage with the Sound Barrier. They're going into them. Misfits want to commit to this fight as well. Not just force ultimates out. Transcendence popped out from them. At the end of it, though, dive from Gods. Picks up 2 already into Zebbosai on the back. Gonna finish it off with a 3k4 now. Reinforce falls and Misfits a complete collapse. A minute and a half left. They invested a fairly large support ultimate into that one, but they got a lot out of it from Cloud9 as well.
It's definitely a good fight for them. I think something to notice as well is that Surefour and Gods are both on the same target all the time. That previous Lucio Sound Barrier from Misfits, they both chunked through it and ended up killing Roolf through it. So the amount of focus from those 2 DPS is what's winning them fights right now.
And Zebbosai was even jumped on in that fight too. That's why we saw the Transcendence come out of him, because he wanted to stay alive, and the team wasn't really in a position to defend him, so maybe play a little bit more back. Obviously I'm not going to be one to criticize these guys in terms of how to play, but they need to fix something in their compositions or something in their team play to keep their supports alive, because now you see Mineral go down, their Lucio player, and then I would assume Zebbosai is going to be quickly thereafter.
You could see there, when Manneten tried to dive in on the Tracer, Xepher was there with the peel completely, keeping Roolf alive, just defense matrix right over his head. A bomb in from TviQ as well with the ultimates. He can get anything from it, but not quite. Able to get back into the mech, but they're losing player after player. Zebbosai again fallen. Mineral's going to commit to this one. There's only 30 seconds left, so they have to turn this fight.
They committed a Sound Barrier there with only under 3 people, and TviQ could use the self-destruct, knowing there was only about 35 seconds remaining, but they're still fighting out here. The teammates of Misfits have not returned to join them yet again here, but it's still a scrappy fight for both teams. The Sound Barrier coming in. Gods again with the Dragon Blade looking to chase down onto someone, but he doesn't have the opportunity to pick up a kill yet, because Reinforces there knocking away. Zebbosai's gonna get that kill, the payload. They'll at least be back on top and to force it over time with 5 seconds to go.
This could be where they turn it. They've managed to force a Transcendence out of Roolf, and a huge amount of damage coming out from Nevix there. KAISER dropped down to incredibly weak health, and Zebbosai's got his ultimate. It looks like they're going to be able to do it in the overtime. Cloud9 finally falling. That's going to open up at the second checkpoint. They might even get the opportunity to recontest, but at the moment just delaying, seeing if they can set up anything here. Really interesting compositions and how they've worked with it from Misfits, but in general, they're just holding on by the skin of their teeth.
Surefour, oh, he had post bomb, but he gets taken out by Zebbosai. They were all grouped up with the payload. They had to stay there. If you maybe would have stuck that, that could have been the downfall of Misfits, but here we go, kills still coming into TviQ. Another self-destruction, at least zone them away from this one and pick up a kill on Adam. And I think Misfits are finally going to cross the second checkpoint, but they don't have that much time to close out this map.
KAISER invested his Primal Rage into that. I assume they're going to be swapping off to a Reinhardt Sentry composition now. Yes, KAISER coming back up on the Rhine. See if they are joined by a couple of other tanks. They're going to aim to replicate what Misfits did to them, but look at this forwards aggression. Manneten and Nevix really getting deep into the spawn. Pick up the kill onto Gods really early. Already around the back of KAISER as well. Huge pressure being applied to him.
KAISER, he just can't really get safe because he's got a soldier behind him. He's got Tracer running around him. That pulse bomb coming through does a decent amount of damage to Xepher, but doesn't pick up the kill, doesn't desuit him most importantly. But with that aggression at Misfits, it forces Cloud9 even further into the spawn and allows his payload to move even further. With 50 seconds remaining, they still have another 40 meters to go to close this one out and potentially take this first map.
Because Cloud9 had such a good defense in the second portion, they've managed to really limit the amount of time Misfits have to work with, and this is a difficult point to crack as well. A tactical visor from up top, it's just getting completely eaten for the moment, but he manages to give Xepher the jukes, popping his way down, huge amount of damage into the backline, massive amount of kills for Misfits here. They've still got the Transcendence to work with, and potentially a pulse bomb, but a little bit of delay, possibility for the spawners to come in here, but the goal is within their sights.
Oh, the pulse bomb's ready to go for Manneten. He's going to try to at least desuit Xepher again, who's just delaying for so long here. Overtime is 15 seconds away. Even the Samurai going to be coming out of Cloud9. They need to stabilize here. Middle's going to pop his own just to respawn, just to make sure they can hold on here. Zebbosai, Trance is ready to go. They have another support ultimate where Roolf has his nano boost now put on to KAISER.
Here we go, they're getting really weak here. At some point, Zebbosai's got to pop it off. The Transcendence comes out, but they've already lost two. Slightly too late there to save Mineral and Reinforce. Might still be enough to get them across the line, but that Earth Shadow looks like it's going to seal the deal. KAISER coming out with what he's known for best, and they have knocked the Swedes to the ground. Can they clean up the last couple of people with these spawners? As overtime ticks down, it looks like Cloud9 are going to be able to take this first map on Hollywood. They've still got a little bit of janitor duty to do, but as the pin comes in at the end there as well, it is going to be the North American team with the win on Hollywood.
Wow, so Cloud9, I mean, Shower Joe, I know that was hectic the last basically 5 minutes of time there for the second phase of that last scrappy fight into the conclusion of the map. You know, break it down for us, like what was going on towards the end, because it was so hectic. It's hard to kind of even pinpoint an individual player, an individual performance.
I think it's interesting that Cloud9 actually went aggressive with only 50 seconds left. They knew that actually if they maybe played a bit more defensive, that they could make sure that it was only one fight. But they actually did a good job of at least going even. It looked like they might have been losing the fight, but they just wanted to get a couple of picks right at the end. And with the spawn times being in their favor, they were able to regroup and actually win that fight. So really good to extend the fight out and make sure that there was only one. And even if they did lose it, that they had another to kind of in their back pocket if they needed it. But I think their second point, Cloud9, was really where they stood out and put the pressure on Misfits. They really struggled. Misfits not able to actually kind of work around the D.Va and actually get her to look at two different directions. Making sure that she actually looks in different ways makes it a lot easier to get the damage through, because otherwise Matrix is just going to block everything from Soldier and from any other damage that's going to come through. And actually they didn't have that much long range damage, so it is up to the Tracer to flank and to take the attention away from D.Va.
TviQ playing the D.Va as well was really interesting. I mean, he's the playmaker or he's one of the playmakers for this team. He's renowned for his amazing DPS ability, and they had him on the D.Va for a fairly large portion of where they were attacking the second point and the first one as well. And he plays it in a very aggressive style, it seems. It was a large contrast between how TviQ was playing the D.Va and how Xepher's playing the D.Va. Very close to his backline, able to peel constantly for Roolf. Roolf really never seemed like he was in any danger from the diving Tracers. And over on the other side, they found it incredibly difficult to keep Zebbosai and Mineral alive. So
that's what we saw in the second phase. Like every time that Misfits would try to find another avenue to attack, like a different direction to go down the main street, down the right, down the left, they would be there to respond. And we saw what KAISER would jump on top of Zebbosai, which in that play of the game, we noticed Zebbosai had to pop Transcendence just to stay alive, and God's like, okay, I can wait like 5 seconds, pop my Dragon Blade, then pick up a quad kill.
Yeah.
And the constant pressure onto him, not allowing him to pick up a lot of helium and a lot of damage to get trances over and over and over again, I think kind of limited the way Misfits could at least play in that second phase.
And I think that comes down to as well as the composition. I know that kind of second phase they were running quite similar, but actually Misfits running Soldier and Tracer rather than C9's Tracer and Genji means that actually Tracer's on her own. She can't do anything. There's a lot less kill potential, and it is very easy for the D.Va just to look at Tracer, press right click, and then bring up the Matrix and just delete any damage, put enough pressure onto Tracer that she then has to recall, and then there's no other follow up. Whereas actually TviQ has to deal with two flankers, and some of that damage is impossible to Matrix. You can't Matrix a melee, and you can't Matrix the dash through the support, and it worked out for them. And
NevixOW, the Soldier, was trying to take the high ground as well when they were attacking second a number of times, and Gods would be contesting him up top, and whenever he got into position, Zephyr's over there immediately, and they've got such a good response in that final area that I felt like Misfits had to go as a whole team up top and try and take the high ground, I think. They were trying to send individual players up there to have a two-pronged attack, but they were getting dealt with so easily, it seemed, by the mobility of the Cloud9 roster and the way that they were using their D.Va and their Genji. I feel like perhaps if they'd just gone wholesale at top and tried to completely deny that position, they might have got a better engagement.
Yeah, definitely just put, as soon as D.Va does fly up, put the pressure on her, get her to fly back to her team for healing, otherwise she's going to get demeched, and that's your opportunity. As soon as somebody's low HP and the healers have to focus on that person, and Roolf being on Zen means that there's no burst healing like you have with Ana, so there's your opportunity. But they didn't create that space for themselves, and they didn't create the opportunities that they needed with the composition that they had of Tracer and Soldier.
All right, guys, now we're loaded into Nepal here as our second map. Going to be on Control. How are you feeling about these teams on this kind of map mode?
I'm actually not surprised that they went for Nepal. Obviously, Sanctum, which we'll see soon, is quite a tank-heavy kind of composition anyway, or favors kind of tanks is quite compact. But I think it'll be very even. I think after what we've just seen, and actually C9 favouring the kind of flankers, I think that'll favour them, because what they'll do for Sanctum is they'll just swap to the tanks and still be fine.
Right.
I think we'll see quite a number of niche picks for these two teams as well. They've got a lot of flexibility in terms of their individual hero pools in this roster. Maybe not on this one, but once we got the Village, something like that, we could see the Faras, maybe even the Mei come out, things like this. And they certainly didn't want to take Cloud9 to Oasis, I don't think.
Well, as you pointed out, Showerjaw, we're going to be seeing the Tracer and the Soldier pick up again for Misfits here on the red side, and Cloud9 going to be running the Genji Tracer combo that we just saw on Hollywood here. So far, Zebbosai's been able to set himself up towards the Elephant side. No kills coming in just yet. Actually, not even that much damage, to be honest, as both teams are just trying to poise for positioning around this map, as the point has finally unlocked. I'll say Misfits have gotten a majority of the initial capture.
Yeah. Vying for position, just poking each other, seeing if they can get the better end of any individual target. TviQ dropped really low though, actually went on a flanking route and ended up getting picked up by Gods, who's in the back line now, causing a ton of pressure onto Misfits. They're dealing with it relatively well with their biotic field. They're staying grouped up on the left-hand side near the Elephant. They've managed to find the pick on the Manneten as well, but it's very back and forth between these two teams, neither really wanting to engage, initiate.
Yeah, I mean, well, you've already lost the point as Misfits. Either you're just going to go in and die, or you have to get those picks and then hope to take it back. And now, Showerjaw, we have to talk about this. We talked about, you point out TviQ, the fact if he's flanking, well, and there's a D.Va, he can't really do much damage, because the D.Va doesn't have to look in two different directions without, like, maybe a Genji or someone else there to assist. So why are we seeing the Tracer Soldier combo to Misfits when we know Nevix can play Genji?
I just don't know why they're picking the Soldier over. They probably feel like that actually they can just kind of brute force their way, get the Matrix down, and then just go through the middle.
There's a pulse bomb, removes whatever Manneten had from the sound barrier. Roolf replies, 2 support ults used here from Cloud9, so decent for Misfits. So they managed to force out both of them, and now they're applying a lot of pressure again to the tanks. That seems to be the go-to strategy for Misfits, really applying a huge amount of pressure over on Xepher and KAISER, and then seeing if they can get the cleanup afterwards. This could be the first flip over from Misfits on Nepal, and again, this is their map pick as well, so they need to be performing. And this is going to be them getting their first capture on the board.
Just to remind you guys at home, this is not like a best of 3, it's not a best of 5, it's 4 maps played total. Every team and every matchup today will be playing out the entirety of those 4 maps. And the group settings come down to how many maps that you have won across all of your individual series. So just to give you guys an idea, when you see 2-1 or 2-0 potential here, or 2-1, you're not thinking it's a best of 5. There's no way a best of 5 group stage can last over the course of 2 days. We need probably like 6 for that. But either way, we do have a lot of ultimates ready for Misfits. 4 to go here. TviQ trying to make something with that pulse bomb work. Doesn't seem like he was able to stick, or at least do enough damage off the back of that on the zone to kill them off. But just looking at what Cloud9 have, like, Sideshow, this has to be a dry run, right? This has to be an eco push.
It looks like it. Misfits in general have been incredible at staying in control of Nepal and Village and Sanctum and Shrine. It kind of seem to be their home grounds, but they got a couple of ultimates forced out of them there, and Cloud9 are going to look to reinitiate. They're going to have the Dragon Blade and the Transcendence to be able to use. And then KAISER's also got his ultimate if they need to apply a little more pressure to the backlines.
What's dangerous, Showerjaw's middle doesn't have his sound barrier yet. They don't have a way to stop Gods' ult.
Well, you've got Roolf, and by the time the Transcendence is over, Adam will actually have his ult as well. So having the double support ult
God's got taken out by the self-destruct in the middle of that as well. He was halfway through his Dragon Blade, had already found Zebbosai, and then Nevix pops off his tactical visor as well, just to delete the second DPS player of Cloud9. That should have been a potential opportunity for Cloud9 to get back in control. They did manage to flip the point, but they're getting the worst end of the fight in general. Misfits going to be able to recap and stabilize, it seems, but very close between these two teams so far.
That's big.
I guess you don't need a support ultimate if you can somehow catch the Genji with the self-destruct, right? I guess that can kind of support ultimate. But yeah, I mean, I agree. That should have been Cloud9's fight when you didn't have a sound barrier or even a transcendence to respawn to gods, which we already saw in Hollywood how well he can play this Genji. But now they got the sound barrier ready to go. Zebbosai only about 50%, Roolf or about 40-50% himself. They're going to have the sound barrier out of Adam, but that's going to be pretty much it in terms of defense for aggressive ultimates.
Both sound barriers used. Cloud9 coming up on the right-hand side. Nevix incredibly low there. They've managed to find 2 initial picks, and they're still really healthy on the side of Cloud9. Pulse Bomb used, but doesn't quite hit anybody. Doesn't matter though, because Surefour still does a huge amount of damage just with his little pistols there anyway. Coming back up onto the point. Misfits have managed to get into overtime here, but with 77% over on Cloud9, they really needed to get the better end of this fight. And the possibility for a recap is going to be in the very last little nick of time here.
They do have the time to regroup though. 20% is enough. You expect one more fight, even if it is rushed. And it's going to be a very even fight. Neither team has an ultimate, but we do see Roolf very close to that transcendence, and along with Zebbo, so it's going to be a case of who gets there first could win the fight.
Or even what Zen's going to be alive at that point, because we see both chasers do fairly well and try to counter each other, and Roolf's going to pop his out a little preemptively just to make sure he does not get taken down. Zebbosai, 99%, he has his ultimate available, deals 1 HP, he's going to pop it off to just barely stay alive here. That might be the turning point now for Misfits, as TviQ is just not able to hit that post bump, but the self-destruct catches 2. Manneten, where the hell did that come from?
Enormous plays from Manneten again with the self-destruct. Fantastic stuff from them, and they all managed to get their ultimates just in the nick of time from Misfits. It was overtime. Zebbosai was only on 1 health. Nevix also popped off his tactical visor. They had the huge self-destruct. That's the definition of clutch right there coming out from the Swedish team, as they managed to steal that one away from Cloud9.
Oh, I mean, you saw, I was staring at Zebbosai's HP the entire time. He was at like 95%. He got down to, I want to say 10 HP.
Yeah.
And then just barely in the nick of time, spammed his Q button, probably broke his keyboard off of that. And I kept himself up. I mean, that's where we see the focus of Cloud9 go towards Sharjah, right? It's always been towards the supports. And Zebbo, he's been unfortunately on the blunt end of that sword.
Yeah, well, with Cena's composition, with the way that they're playing, they have to go for that backline, and they have to get those kills. And they didn't in that situation, just managed to get the ultimate, and it paid off for Misfits to keep Zebbosai alive.
Nepal in general is a map where each stage can justify a different composition as well. So with these versatile teams, definitely see something interesting going into Village here. Got triple tank coming out from both of them. Anna on the side of Roolf, along with Xepher on the Diva.
No one's going high ground.
Yeah.
It's like one of the first times I've never seen people go high ground.
And Misfits instead going for Manneten on the Zarya. So a lot of damage going to be coming out from him. He should be able to build up that energy fairly well. Difficult to get value out of the ultimate though, perhaps. A big brawl happening on the ground here though. Both teams not aiming for the high ground.
So instead of going for any flanks, any backlines, they're just like, we're going to just power straight through you. We're going to kill your main tank KAISER and give you no chance. I mean, you saw Reinforce, he was shielded, right? So there was no chance to even stop him.
Yeah, well, there's a slight difference between having Gods on Roadhog and having Manneten on Zarya, and those shields can completely negate any hook and any kill potential that Gods can have, along with the fact that it's really hard to hit a Tracer with a hook, and even if he does hook anyone else, it's hard to one-shot them.
Oh! Reinforce!
What a play!
That's 5 man!
That's fantastic coming out from Reinforce. Check your corners. But Cloud9 walk into that one. A free ultimate for Reinforce. He's got to be feeling good about that.
That's huge for Misfits. Just being able to use one ultimate to win that fight sets them up for the next 2 at least.
Oh, God. And that has to put some doubt in the minds of Cloud9 as well. The fact that, I mean, that's a corner you generally should check. And as you just pointed out to me, Sharjah, we see a little bit of a switch up for Cloud9.
Yeah, they're obviously not feeling it. They go back to double flanker combo. But KAISER coming out with his own ult.
Xepher used on the floor there. Don't think he caught anybody, but they're still going to be able to follow up onto it. They've got that nano boost for the next fight, potentially. But Misfits didn't really engage anything into that one. Just choosing to give up the ground for free. KAISER generating 44% of his ult already, as well as God's ticking it up. So now, Misfits in the situation where they have to re-engage into this, but they have a massive ultimate here. They've got the combo, the big bang, but potential for it to be eaten as well. They've got to tread carefully around Xepher.
if Xepher catches both these, I'll like to lose my shirt, just catch my shirt off. But luckily for me, he doesn't catch any of that. And there's Nevix, a self-destruct and the pulse bomb, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this one just to lock it down. It allowed Reinforce to at least charge up another Earth Shatter here, but still, that was a hell of a lot of ultimates to commit.
Yeah, a little bit of overkill. I like going for the self-destruct over the pulse bomb. It's a lot safer, and you just with the Graviton that was actually in that position. Reinforce could just get a free charge on KAISER. There's nothing KAISER can do. He either has to counter charge and he loses his shield, or he gets pinned and he loses his shield. Yeah. It's a win-win for Misfits in that situation. Don't think they need to commit all the ults though, and it could cost them.
Great coordination, though, to retake the point. A little bit of a tracer battle happening on the floor as Surefour aims to get them down. That's going to be blocked, though. Reinforce not able to get such a meaty Earth Shatter as last time as Cloud9 come back in with their support ultimate use. Misfits still got one in the bag, though.
The point got flipped. It looks like I think it was Surefour was able to turn the one around, and God puts himself up a quick quad kill off of this. So Misfits try to engage with the Earth Shatter, which unfortunately does get blocked out on. But before even that happens, they lose the point because of not keeping a man there to contest it. So did Nevix lose the 1v1 against Surefour, or did he just fall off the point a little bit too early?
Maybe just too much damage and didn't feel like he could take the fight and had to back off, but Surefour really flipping that one for his team, getting a lot of free percentage, and Misfits had to turn their eyes, turn their attention. And now they're in the awkward position of recapturing. They are at 79%, so one good recapture will be helpful. Look at this, though, dropping it from the high ground. They're right behind Reinforce, but he turns at the last moment. Still going to catch Zebbosai there, but the sound barrier keeps him alive for now. And KAISER's been pressured down. Manneten doing a great job as Zebbosai comes in and saves them all with the Transcendence. Looking like a decent opportunity to flip the point here, as they do, ticking it up into the 80%. Cloud9 as well, if they get a couple of stalled kills towards the end here, really difficult for them to get back into the fight. 90% now.
They want that kill on Surefour. They want to at least eliminate him to keep this man advantage.
This is going to be tough for Cloud9. That kind of late stall, they didn't all die straight away. Well, they've got 5%. They do have somebody on the point, but everyone else is going to have to rush through, and it could just be Manneten's ult. Could just give them the advantage there, an easy fight.
Both Gravitons up for both teams. Manneten used it. Surely that's gone somewhere. Can't quite see, but the ultimate from Xepher definitely caught everybody. It's the follow-up there, though. Misfits, they've only got 2 players alive. Surely not going to be able to turn this one. Nevix is a great player, but just doesn't have the damage output to be able to turn it. And then Cloud9 now ticking themselves up 85%. Is there even enough time for Misfits to get back into this one? They lost Nevix incredibly late. Reinforce going to be coming up to his Earth Shatter, but that's the only ultimate they've got.
Oh, and Gods and Surefour, the 2 flankers have their ults ready to go too. This is going to be so difficult to sustain from Zebbosai switching over to the Ana. Last second, Gods be coming towards the back, looking for him, and he doesn't connect it. Looks like the Earth Shatter didn't even hit on the Gods either, and Gods just cleaning up here in Cloud9. Most certainly will close this one out, and Village will be theirs, tying things up at 1 apiece here on the ball.
Well, I gotta say, Gods was my guy to watch on Cloud9 to see how he was performing on Genji, but he has had some absolutely fantastic Dragon Blades over the course of this game, setting up perfectly along with his tank line as well. They knew that Misfits were gonna be forced to commit to that point. It was getting down to overtime. They had to try and hit him with the Earth Shatter as well. Leaps over the top of Reinforce's head and gets a huge amount of value with his Dragon Blade, tying it up 1-1.
I think, I want to say, I couldn't see from the angle we had, that Xepher shielded Gods, because he was playing Zarya, to stop the Earth Shatter from hitting, which allowed him to actually get this whole combo off.
Potentially, yeah. But either way, nice play from Gods and from Cloud9 to avoid that. Their last hope was that Earth Shatter to try and stop Dragon Blade. No support ult available to try and kind of survive it.
A big difference in terms of how they were able to use the Gravitons at the end there. Xepher made the clutch move over to Zarya towards the end, built up the Graviton. Him and Manneten both had it. Manneten threw his, didn't really catch anybody, or at least the follow wasn't there, and Xepher got a meaty one to be able to wipe Misfits. Now, onto Sanctum. Much more the home of the triple tank, but we've seen both of these 2 teams not afraid to play it in different areas anyway. So this one, that was a sleep dart right at the beginning. Who did that catch? Nevix, huge amount of damage taken out from the shield.
This is going to be favoring the side of Cloud9 too, which is the fact that they have a Roadhog to just eat away at this Reinhardt shield for Reinforce, and Zephyr's going to be there to block any damage coming back their way. Reinforce already got a sliver of HP, going to be healed back up though. Going to be relatively slow with no Ana to get that bio grenade. Point has finally been unlocked, and God's going to hit a hook. That's going to pull TviQ a little bit too far deep. But still, no kills coming off the back of this.
Roolf with a super quick nano boost built up from healing the rest of his team here. If he needs to use it, that will definitely turn the tide of the fight. Gods gets it at the end of his hook just to melt Reinforce. To be honest, though, I don't think they needed it. At that point, the fight had already been won, but Roolf just making sure that he's completely got that fight in the bag, and Cloud9 take early control.
I definitely like to see the Ana on this kind of map. It's very close, it's very contained, and it's very easy to hit Ana grenades just from over the top, and even just heal a lot of your tanks up in a very short space of time. And that's something that Misfits actually struggled with, is that they didn't have the healing capability from Zebbosai. So they need to use that Discord. They need to be able to get that damage through to be able to counter the healing.
So talk about what's positioned for a shower, because it looks like Misfits have flanked around completely, and Cloud9 is just kind of responding in light. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second here, as we do have their shut up for KAISER. It looks like Gods did knock off Reinforce here. This should be a fight held on to by Cloud9. But again, the positioning that they were taking, they actually fell back to point instead of holding towards pillars.
It's interesting that they actually fell off the point. I would have expected them to maybe push back onto point, but it kind of makes sense moving them around. Just keep that distance, use the advantage of the Roadhog, because he can do so much damage at the right range to a Reinhardt shield that you take the Reinhardt shield down, and then KAISER's got a free ultimate.
Here's the advantage of using such tank-heavy compositions as well. You have a huge amount of really powerful ultimates to use. Cloud9 have 4 in the bag. Misfits, it's going to be difficult for them, but they do have this Graviton up in a matter of moments. The follow-up has to be there, though. Sound Barrier popped out already from Cloud9. Manneten, though, has been pinned. He's got his own Zarya bubble to keep him alive, but not for long, as Misfits still fall. They've still got those ultimates, though. They didn't waste any in that fight. So they can come back into it. They actually managed to force out 3 from Cloud9 as well, so at the end of it, that's a decent fight for Misfits. If they manage to take it with this next one, which they absolutely have to, they could start the ball rolling.
But look at the position that they're holding. This Graviton surge out of Manneten is going to be so difficult to hit. I just want to point out quickly, we did have Xepher actually 1v2 TviQ and Nevix trying to keep that tactical advisor from coming out, but the self-destruct is going to hit one. Reinforce is going to go down. Nevix does get the kill on the KAISER though, but Gods turning around from the point, actually picks up the kill. Somehow on a Manneten long range, and Nevix left on point. Rich by himself trying to capture this point over is going to be a little bit too difficult, but you got Xepher there being desuited. The rest of the team of Misfits have been able to pick up these kills, and finally after 99%, Misfits do get control. But I mean, that's kind of what happens on this point of Nepal anyways. You kind of have people get to 99%, and eventually it changes over, and they can hold for 100 themselves.
I'm so surprised they managed to take that, though, as well, because KAISER hit a pretty good Earth Shatter to open things up. They managed to get the self-destruct through. Manneten, I think his ultimate got eaten as well in the midst of that, so they've used their Graviton, and they didn't manage to, either didn't get the follow-up off camera, or it just got eaten by Xepher, who was really conscious of the fact that his ultimate was live and was playing really aggressively with his defense matrix.
Reinforce, he really wants to shatter. He's been trying to throw these fire strikes into so many people, just barely survives. Luckily for him, he's tall and he has big feet to hold on to. And Surefour does get the kill on TviQ, but their shot's ready to go. You can see the shield's almost broken. Reinforce has to play this one so carefully to make sure to hit this one perfect, and he doesn't. KAISER's gonna block it out, but he does get the charge onto it nonetheless, but Gaz knocks him away with the whole hog, but the kills are all blue, and this point should be turned over, and with TviQ, the last man remaining, will allow Cloud9 to take a 2-1 lead here on Nepal.
A lot of mind games there between KAISER and Reinforce. The Korean getting the better end of it in the end.
If you're Reinforced there, though, it's like
so difficult.
You have to use your shatter, right? You can't hold on to it. And if your KAISER's just like, all right, I'll keep my shield up the whole time. I mean, we say that Reinforced missed it, but it was kind of like you have to use it at that point.
Absolutely, and KAISER as well, playing the positioning of that corner so perfectly, backing off every time when he needed to generate a bit more ultimate on his shield. A couple of players baiting forwards as well. Roolf just steps out in front of the shield, seeing if he can draw the charge, the Earth Shatter rather, out of Reinforce, but it wasn't quite going to be baited by it until the very end. Cloud9 go up 2-1 in the map. Nepal, of course, best of 5, so Misfits can still come back from this one, but one more round from Cloud9, and they managed to secure it, and we're back to Village. Interesting to see Misfits go for a different composition here, though, moving away from Reinhardt-centric comps.
But Cloud9 going back to what they originally had on this Village map that they then quickly swapped off, which is interesting to see, knowing that they changed very quickly after the first fight.
Super aggression coming out here from Misfits at the top side. Debuff has already hit Reinforce, but playing the positioning nicely, doesn't take too much damage from it. A lot of pressure being applied here to Cloud9. They're kind of stuck in a little cubby hole, and Zebbosai's orbs come through, wreck Surefour. Do get the hook in onto Reinforce, but I think his careful bubble placement managed to mitigate a lot of the damage, and Misfits have played their composition and the aggression really well, going to be able to come up with the first cap.
You see the power of D.Va there, right?
Yeah, I got to call Manneten out there. He's just managed to block the hook damage twice. And could have changed the fight if they managed to get those 2 kills from those 2 hooks.
And even with the Roadhog out of Cloud9, KAISER lost his shield so quickly there too.
Yeah.
But they're able to get a point now. This is where things get a little bit iffy for Misfits, but they do have a team that can brawl this position. Gods is going to be able to hit these hooks, but Zebbosai again gets Surefour down. KAISER is able to hit a charge and at least desuit Manneten for now. But look at this, Xepher, 96 energy. He's going to be nano boosted, and everyone has just become butter for him as he's that warm knife cutting through them with this laser.
They're getting their spawners in, and he's actually finding it a little difficult to do too much damage. There's the Earth Shatter, though. He's still got his Graviton. There's no need to commit it to this fight, or at least no need so far. They've just managed to flip the point over. So Misfits with a decent stall towards the end there, get 31%. Manneten going Genji. I have not seen that at all from Misfits. This is something new.
Well, something that Misfits have to know right now is that Xepher has got that Graviton. There's no way that they will not know, with being charged and how long the fight has been and how long this map's gone on so far, that they've got to play around that.
Well, where's the reflex? Manneten, can you hit it, son? Can you be the team or the play that your team needs? It's like the Graviton's not going to be coming anytime soon, especially with the sound barrier use. It looks like they're just going to let that be the ultimate committed for now. And KAISER, his grab can help charge him another Earth Shadow, which means he can shut them down yet again. Manneten only at 14% on his Dragon Blade, so no Blade coming anytime soon.
Great synergy between all of the ultimates that Cloud9 have got. They've got the Big Bang combo as well. Surefour so far actually has been shut down pretty well by Misfits.
I just look at Cloud9 all sitting on point. Misfits, even with a man down, are sitting on high ground, just like waiting for an opportunity.
Cloud9 want to play in a real deathball style. They want to get maximum value out of them ultimates, bait them down onto the point. Here comes the sound barrier. Ult surely going to get used there. Xepher pops it out, catches a couple of players in it, see if they can mitigate it. Zebbosai used the Transcendence as well to keep everybody healthy inside of it. And they're finding a bit of damage, but everybody's so weak on the side of Misfits.
Zebbosai, he was picked up that 1v1 against Surefour, but the recall's gonna be a little bit too strong for him, and not to mention Cloud9 gonna be a little bit too strong. That was gonna be picked up as he's just trying to run off the cliff and die. And Cloud9 are, what, 25% away from taking a 2-0 lead against Misfits.
One fight, and they have Adam's ultimate, the sound barrier, and Roolf's coming up soon, so you could pass that over to KAISER and just he walks forward with a bit of speed boost and gets his ult mid-fight and can quite easily just turn it, but TviQ getting picked.
Manneten's got to get some value out of this Dragon Blade that he's just got online as well. Tactical buys, but Xepher again in his face. Xepher has been playing so well on the D.Va and on the Zarya role. Manneten comes in with the Dragon Blade as well, though, instantly shut down. The focus there, so great. And KAISER with an Earth Shatter as well is going to finish this off. Surely, this is an impossible comeback for Misfits. They only have TviQ on the point. He's a great player, but it's not going to be enough. And Cloud9 asserting their dominance on Misfits' map pick there of Nepal.
That Earth Shatter was crucial to win that fight. It was still very even, 3 for 3, and he managed to pick up both supports with a Tracer pulse bomb coming through as well, just to make sure that they stay dead.
Oh God, it's gonna get the play of the game again. 2 for 2 for this man. Trying to be another blade. Yep, you can see so the Earth Shatter came down and the shield came on top at the same time, but I don't know if he dashed away far enough to get away from the Earth Shatter. But either way, it would have landed, right? Because the shield was there, and that just shows like the communication. You know, considering they have 2, Koreans on the team, to be able to communicate like 5-minute points like that, obviously the 2 Koreans coming in are probably better than most North American players, if not way better than most North American players. But to be able to have that kind of synergy so quickly on when you've just become a team is very nice to see.
It's a very good sign for moving forward. You know, you're only going to get stronger from this point.
Communication issues were always a thing that people were concerned about with Cloud9, given that they're adding Koreans who would speak less English than the rest of the North American roster. But I think Bishop has done an excellent job of blending the two together and being able to create a system for them to play in. You can see him there doing something with KAISER. Not sure what. Just giving him his leg a stroke. He wants to relax.
Oh, he's going to feed him grapes.
King KAISER.
You gotta have that synergy both in and out of game, don't you? So
this is Bishop sabotaging his own
grapes?
team.
Yeah.
That's sabotaging your own team. Everyone knows you don't feed KAISER grapes. I mean, tomorrow, they're not going to be able to perform at all. He's going to be sat there rolling around with his belly.
Well, now that brings us into our third game type. We're going to Assault, Hanamura or Anubis. And I know from talking to TviQ that Misfits, this is a game mode that they heavily practice.
Well, we certainly play a lot against them, and I think the European scene in general likes is kind of moving towards kind of assault maps and actually making sure that we don't fall behind on them. And I think there's certainly potential. I mean, with how close these games have been, you know, even with the second point hold on Hollywood and the 99-99 that it has been on these 3, the 4 points on Nepal, it's very close, and I think that Misfits will have a plan moving forward. We may see something similar as yesterday with some Sombra on second point defense, but at the same time, TviQ has played May in the past, and we could see a May. So this is something that maybe C9 aren't used to and haven't played against. So it could just give Misfits the edge to take the map, which they look like they can do right now.
This is interesting as well because it looks like we're going to be going to Anubis as our assault map here. And if I was trying to play into Cloud9's weaknesses rather than their strengths, I think I would have gone for Hanamura if I'm in Misfits' shoes. The Americans seem to play a lot more Anubis. They have the style down. They seem to know how the defense works. I feel like that would be a map that Cloud9 have shown that they're more comfortable on. But I think given what you're talking about with the practice that they've had on Assault, I'm expecting them to have some kind of crafted strategy here from Misfits. They're a very tactical team. They know when they want to make the switch-ups and the compositions they want to run at each point. So I think we're going to be seeing something, probably the Sombra coming out from them.
And you do have to weigh up what C9, if you're Misfits right now, what is your strongest out of those two maps, but also take into account what do we think C9 is strongest at, and actually if you are maybe a slightly weaker on a map, but you know that you're stronger than C9 on that map, then you go for that. So there's a lot of things in play when picking a map, and it is. I mean, I like Anubis. I think the Sombra strat that's recently come out has certainly changed the dynamic and opened up different compositions to be available. But it's interesting to see how different teams with different styles, they don't play the dive style. They've certainly shown the tank heavy styles in the last two maps. It'd be interesting how the tanks play around having a Sombra rather than it being a dive comp.
You know what kind of worries me, boys? What if Cloud9 4-0 Misfits?
Then
Because
NA is officially greater than
I can see
EU.
Twitch chat, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm worried about the overall, scheme of things when it comes to the group, because you still have Movistar Riders, who is a team that we're going to see is damn good, and a lot of these teams really respect highly. We have Hammer as well, who can always come up surprisingly, or in a surprising way. To be 0 for 4 after your first series, considering we're basing rankings off map wins, that doesn't bode well for Misfits.
That's very worrying for them. I think it was also kind of strange that they took them to Nepal as well, where they've typically struggled. Maybe trying to avoid the Farah Mercy comms from Cloud9, maybe respecting them a bit too much there. They're down 2 maps, and that's not a good start to this group stage. But Zebbosai is defending here with the Sombra on Anubis.
He hacked the early Mega, right? Then he actually threw his translocator to the other Mega. So they have control of both Megas, but you can see, obviously, they're going to be playing around quite a bit. And now, with Cloud9 up there, they can't play around this one themselves. So now the fact that they can't really maintain this high ground position, or at least use those health packs, gives such a huge advantage for Misfits, especially flankers like TviQ, who can come in, pick up that Mega, fight, recall, pick up the Mega, fight, probably have another recall at the time again.
Zephyr got debuffed there. Great biotic grenade coming out from Mineral, who's actually switched over to the Ana in this situation. Normally plays Lucio for the team almost exclusively. And Misfits' composition really forcing Cloud9 into a corner. Playing these tanks, very difficult when you're not able to play off the health kits either. There's a hook though, as Manneten gets dragged down from the high ground and DMEC instantly taken out. That's a decent pick for them to start the fight.
That's something that Cloud9 needed. They needed a hook. They needed something to get them out of that hole, that room that they've been pushed into.
I was just waiting for a bio grenade to come through and just completely splash all of them down. And then just, hey, easy kills for you as long as you rush into that one. But they played it well. I mean, they're using the Reinhardt comp against this kind of dive-centric composition that Misfits was running, especially with the help of Zebbosai. Look at this. Someone, I think it was you, Such, that pointed out May.
Yeah,
we're seeing it on Nevix, but we're seeing May here on the last point to stall.
It's pretty interesting. I think it's good on Anubis as well. And Nevix and TviQ were both fantastic at it when it was that particular May meta that was happening, the Beyblade meta. They were both excellent. So icicles all over the place, but he actually gets hooked really instantly.
Well, now Surefour, he's got attack price ready to go. The EMP's going to come in with Roolf connect on Surefour now up to the side and pop this one down. Where's the D.Va? There's going to be a single one, and it's going to be him getting so many free kills, so much free damage done. But the question comes down to now, is it going to be enough to pick up a lot of progress on the point? The first third will be taken here for Cloud9. Maywell going to come in, which will allow Nevix to contest from the other side of this one. Not to mention Zebbosai throw his translocator to get back on top of point here. But now Nevix, he's just going to fall for this one. KAISER picks up the kill. Postman going to give himself a double kill, though, with Adam and Surefour going down. That should be now Misfits holding this point.
A massive turn of momentum there as TviQ finds 2 with the pulse bomb, but that was Nevix managing to stall for so long. Just a great tilted ice wall on the side, and locks himself into the cryo freeze as well to regen his health and become immortal for a small moment. And Nevix buys time for his spawners there. They can get back into the fight. They really haven't had
enough of a defense to even build up the EMP kind of system that we normally see, where you have the tanks, they take the damage, they go down to the hacked health kits, you build up the EMP incredibly quickly, you have it for almost every fight that happens, and Zebbosai is going to aim to use it to win each fight. Surefour making the switch as well, they've got a Pharah in this situation. The Maywall as well is going to lock off 2 of their tanks, and the EMP comes down. This should be cleanup duty here for Misfits.
Well, that's going to be Zebbosai getting smacked down by KAISER. Gods, who I guess wasn't in position to get hacked in that, does get the whole hog kill onto Mineral, but with Nevix and TviQ both picking up kills, this will halt Cloud9, but they can still be happy. They've been able to pick up a third of the point, to 45.2%. Just about now. Actually, no, let's just talk to you about this, Shower Gel. So when you see a Sombra on 2 CP, and you're playing with them against Cyclouds, what's the attacking strategy to get around this?
You have to play around the wall. You have to kind of try and bait it out and move around. But the difficulty with Cloud9's comp is that they have to stay as a ball. And I do like the pick from Surefour to go Pharah, because there's nobody that can contest him. But they are actually going for another fight here.
And the EMP used at the same time as another shadow. They've caught a couple of players with this Maywall as well. So great at being able to split up tanks. That was really why people used to use the May in the first place. They've lost a couple of players not really there with the follow-up. They've forced out an ultimate from Adam, and they haven't really gained that much positioning. So they took the fight, the defense really aggressive, and now they can get a self-destruct into their back lines. Again, Cloud9 managed to hold on to the ultimates. Blizzard used from Nevix as well to see if they can pick up any individual fights. Icicles over onto Adam as well. But the Boog, he still manages to connect that final one. But it's such a scrappy engagement here in the final area, and it needs to be clean if Cloud9 want to take it.
Definitely do. I really, really like the Sombra May though. You know, with this tank comp they're coming through, they just put the wall up, and Zebbosai gets his ult every single fight because of how tanky the Misfits actually are.
You know what I'd love to see? Attacking Sombra into this. To hack the health packs he keeps hacking, to deny that sort of route to go through. Obviously, it's a little bit hard because when you walk through any corridor, you get walled off, right? But I don't know, I feel like attacking Sombra could be a potential counter to defending Sombra if you can do it correctly.
It's possible, but the other problem with that as well is that if a health kit is hacked, you can't like re-hack it, so it's super difficult for them to play into Zebbosai. And the EMP comes out again. This time the follow-up much cleaner as well from Misfits. They knew exactly what they were going to do. And they managed to pick up everybody full team-wide from Cloud9. Difficult to get value out of their ultimates here.
So let me just clarify, because I didn't know that. You can't hack another Sombra's hacked health pack.
I might be completely wrong. That is my understanding of it.
I can't remember. I'm assuming you can.
You can't hack it, but I believe if it hasn't been changed, or this is how it used to work, is that if you EMP a health pack, it would then go over to your control.
We tested that recently, and that's not true. I think that was just like something that people...
Was that just potentially a bug that had been fixed?
Yeah, I think so. I think teams are still trying to figure out like what possibilities you can have for an attacking Sombra, because we saw it yesterday by Rogue on Hanamura, right, where they build up this EMP, and the idea is you just need one clean fight and you can win, so it could be super powerful. But again, Zebbosai just straight into the middle of them, hits the Earth Shatter as well from Reinforce, and this cleanup is so clinical. Misfits look unassailable with this particular composition. It's really unlocked their individual skill and clinical teamwork.
I mean, this is why they picked Anubis. They had the plan. They knew what they were going to do, and they're executing it incredibly well. You know, look at how quickly the Rhine ultimate, the Earth Shatter came through after the EMP, just straight away. No chance to do anything from Cloud9.
I'm wondering what happens when Xepher gets his Growlithe surge up to actually combo with Surefour. Instead they're just saying Godson almost by himself, and Surefour's gonna pick himself two. God's hitting himself two. TviQ's gonna be able to pop his attack visor down, but I believe it gets picked off in the midst of that one. And Misfits have been all completely wiped out here. Cloud9 have the chance to at least get 2/3. Can they finish this one off? Is anyone gonna touch the point in time? And that's gonna be it. Cloud9 have finally, after a hell of a lot of time, captured that second point with 1:31 remaining.
That was so crisp from Cloud9. That was absolutely excellent. They knew that they'd just been wiped utterly, completely. Zebbosai had just used his EMP, but they still have all of their ultimates up. So if they're fast, they can find an opportunity, that tiny sliver of time where Zebbosai doesn't actually have an EMP active. He built it up to 50%. The health pack underneath wasn't quite hacked, but they went in, and that was a fantastic use of resources as well onto Gods on the Genji, and he really delivered. The nano boost onto him, nano blade. He has the bubble as well from the Zarya, and Surefour's distracting with the barrage from the other side. It was super crisp from them.
Yeah, and actually changing off from that Roadhog as well kind of gave them a bit more mobility to move around, go through different entrances and find new openings that they weren't finding with the Roadhog. Yeah, Roadhog can work if you get the hook. If you land the hook, there's no chance that anybody's going to live because you kill them in that combo. But not working for them, they change it up and manage to build up the ultimate, and it ends up working out for them. So well played by Cloud9. I do just want to kind of go back to the first point defense from Misfits though, and actually how well they played it. They hacked both health packs, as you said, Jason, and it meant that it didn't matter which way that Cloud9 went. If they went left, they couldn't use that health pack, and Misfits could go back to the one on the high ground, or if it is the other way around. And actually, Cloud9 did go high ground, and Misfits, as soon as they dropped down, they went on them. They managed to land their really, really crucial biotic grenade, and then just collapse on whoever's left up top, because knowing that once they drop down, they cannot get back up again.
Right.
And it was really, really crucial that Gods actually landed that hook, because it gave them the opening. They were massively split, and they could have just kept staggering people from spawn. So it was really well played by Misfits, but at the same time, Cloud9 managed to get themselves out of a sticky situation.
Here's a throwback to DreamHack Winter from the Misfits composition.
I'm really hoping we're going to get some first-person point of view of Manneten here, because Widowmaker, we see what he can do, and I want to see if he can hit these shots, and especially the position he's going to be taking here, because look at this, high ground control. They easily have some shots, but he just can't land them.
Playing into a Pharah Mercy as well, it's a Widowmaker's dream, but he just can't find the headshots there onto Adam and Surefour. TviQ's applying a bit of pressure though. Ooh, harassing them back into the buildings. That doesn't help with the sidelines either, but they've got a lot of damage potential with this triple DPS comp with the Widowmaker as well.
Well, as we talked about with Widow, right? If you miss the shots, then you look terrible, but if you hit the shots, everyone calls it the next time move. And unfortunately, Manneten just hasn't been able to hit them, and eventually he will get cleaned up. I mean, he had the first shot, right? He had the Pharah Mercy in his eyes. And
a couple of times.
Yeah.
But
the composition, I think, works from a theoretical point of view. Just you have to be able to execute, and if he hits a couple of shots, I think Cloud9 are going to melt.
Yeah, you only have to hit that one shot, that one headshot on the right target, and that's the entire defense can just crumple with the composition that the Misfits have. You just with how quickly that they can jump on you, it can just very quickly just crumple and take that first point.
They've got the res up now though. Adam with the resurrect. That was a nice direct rocket as well. TviQ gets picked off. A large collapse up top from Cloud9. They've still got the res that they're able to use. Adam's going to be their priority target though. If Manneten can manage to find an angle of attack, any kind of shot, that'll be who he's going for. But so far, just harassing them back. Look at that, straight into the choke point. They're like fish in a barrel. And Surefour plows a load of rockets into them for another quick wipe of Misfits.
Adam and Surefour, I think, are playing this one relatively well. Consider up against a Widowmaker, right? That limits the amount of control or the amount of real estate you can work with in the air. And somehow, with the communication of them and their team, they're knowing where Manneten is, and then they can play around that extremely perfectly.
He's a great Pharah as well. The Pharah Mercy combo is a real asset for Cloud9. There goes Roolf, and they use the Resurrect to bring him back up. But they've also lost KAISER, so this could be the opening here. They're committing their ultimates to it, Gods with the Dragon Blade as well. They've already found two with it. Misfits didn't quite know how to make the best opportunity of the initiation that they'd had, but with Adam now having used his Resurrect, potentially the next fight will be good for them. But the time is ticking down here, and Cloud9 looks so excellent with this Pharah Mercy comp.
Definitely do. Not long left on the clock, 1 minute 40 seconds. And it just shows you how strong and how pivotal that actually Zen is into that composition. Just using the Resurrect for that Zen, that it just shows you that you need that extra healing. You need that damage from the Discord Orb.
He had the Transcendence as well, so really crucial Resurrect coming out from Adam.
Show us what you got, Manneten. Make up for those earlier shots here. Oh, that's Surefour right directly on top of him. Yeah, that's what we talked about with Surefour. Fantastic Pharah. Amazing Pharah.
Amazing positioning as well, because he has to try and dodge Manneten and still get value out of it. Here comes NevixOW trying to put on his best Dragon Blade. They're managing to find the picks that they need to open up this point, but the time is not looking good here for Misfits. Second point is so difficult to crack. And Cloud9 had all the time in the world to be able to do it. Are they really going to be able to get this kill? No, Reinforce, he has to back off. The spawners are coming in.
Those are just like the mind games you're playing with KAISER. It's like, yeah, I'm all over you. I'm not afraid to chase you down. And okay, let's be fair to Misfits, right? It took them a long time to take that first point, but it took Cloud9 forever to get the second. So if they can still pick this one up in the next, what, 2, 3, maybe 4 attacks, they're still going to have a better time than Cloud9.
Very difficult, though, when they've got Surefour and Sombra as well. Both teams going for this Sombra defense. Misfits seeing if they can push it with the first one. They've got both of their support ults up. Potential for them to take it in this first fight, but Surefour's already built his EMP. Pops that one off. See if they can get the collapse onto people as well. They've already got Reinforce. And there come the kills onto the others. There's only 3 players left alive. They managed to invest a Dragon Blade into this one from Gods. and the Primal Rage, actually. So they forced out a lot of ultimates there on Cloud9.
Oh, TviQ trying to actually escape that one. He was trying to go for that Mega, but gets picked off, and that's, what, another 10 seconds now gone for the attacking side of Misfits?
More time for Surefour to build his ultimate up as well.
And actually Misfits changing over to the Pharah Mercy comp now as well. Both Manneten and Zebbosai swapping over to their respective roles, but
they don't have DPS on the side of Cloud9 because they moved Surefour and Gods is playing the Genji role. So I guess it's going to be kind of free pickings for Manneten and Zebbosai. Interesting that they're putting Manneten on these key heroes constantly as well, normally playing the off-tanks for them instead.
I do miss the days of seeing TviQ playing Pharah.
He is an incredible Pharah, that's for sure. Zebbosai on the Mercy as well, trying to give aid to him, but he's been picked by Gods. That's not the best start for Misfits. 3.5 minutes for them as well. They just made the swaps though, so they're still building up their ultimates, but they've got to try and force ults out of Surefour as well.
EMP's back up as well after that fight.
I require healing.
So then how are they going to work around the EMP? Because you got Nevix with the Blade ready to go. Zebbosai, who ideally with the help of Manneten should outrange the EMP if positioned correctly. Then again, I mean, it's Surefour. He knows how to position himself perfectly to catch everyone in this one. The Zebbosai is going to have res, most importantly. So if they can get this EMP out and res after and get a huge res, that could still be an easy fight.
Oh, they didn't catch Nevix there with the EMP, and they managed to get the early pick onto Surefour, but his Blade was focused down so quickly as well. Here comes the res, though. That's the 2 up for Manarol and Nevix. They're going to be able to invest more players into this fight. They've managed to focus down God so well as well. The Genji's just not being able to get any value out of the ultimates here, and Misfits with a great opportunity to get at least a tick on the board. Cloud9, though, with a bit of a stalling composition, they've managed to get the 1 tick. Surely, are they going to be able to get 2? No, the stall comes in from Cloud9 for now, but they've managed to force down Gods, moving over to the Tracer, and Surefour falls. This is about keeping everybody alive from Misfits, having Nevix do a huge amount of damage, and that barrage picks up both of their tanks as well. Huge plays from Misfits, and there's only 2 players left alive. The stall, the Transcendence, it comes through, but it's going to look like a reasonable time on the board. So difficult for Cloud9 to be able to take this one back, and Misfits capture both points in fairly similar time here on Temple of Anubis.
So that res, picking up 2 people, wasting out the EMP out of Surefour, then Gods obviously had the Blade to go, right? He popped the Blade right after the res was done, and he tried to pick up kills, but they all turned and focused him down. I think if Misfits didn't kill Gods in the midst of that Dragon Blade, that actually could have been Cloud9 taking that one back, at least holding that point a little bit longer. So such a crucial play and crucial focus out of them.
Yeah, Zebbosai doing a really, really good job of actually just floating around the map, flying to different people of different positions, and actually doing a really good job of just staying alive and trying to just bait out dashes from Gods. Once if Gods with the Dragon Blade doesn't get the resets, Genji can be put into a very bad position, just left in the middle of nowhere. And they did a really good job of just keeping them alive and just cleaning up the kills very, very quickly as well. Even when they tried to retake, they had very good focus and didn't give Cloud9 any kind of space to work with and any kind of congestion. So really, really well played by Misfits here, and hopefully they can actually show us how strong their first point defense is going to be, running Sombra again on first point.
Second time around is going to be very interesting. Both teams have an opportunity to adapt to the compositions that they saw last time, try something new, maybe alter their play slightly so that it works out better. Misfits, although they were running the Sombra, didn't even get the opportunity to charge an EMP on this first one. Their positioning was good, but a single hook from Gods onto Manneten and the whole thing fell apart. So they'll be aiming to avoid that, but no changes in the general theme of how they want to approach this first point. Sombra defense coming out from Misfits with triple tank from Cloud9.
Right, so Nevix is actually going to be going high ground to contest this one. They're going to fight this one instead of actually allowing them to push through with that bio grenade. Oh my lord, it hits almost everyone. Rolls down. Zebbosai even picks up a kill on the Surefour, and this is clean pickings. Misfits, Mineral in particular, I mean, we see him on Lucio most of the time, if not 99% of the time. It's a fantastic bio grenade that Cloud9 wasn't expecting.
It's so crucial that they managed to land those, and it's actually really difficult as well.
They left Xepher alive.
Yeah. Oh, they're just stalling the little baby diva on so little health. Eventually he picks him off.
Those
Xepher falls.
Those seconds are crucial on the second run through of any map. You know, that 10 seconds that they've just given themselves is huge at this point.
In terms of the impact it has as well, it's almost like an ultimate. You know, if it manages to catch that many people, denies healing for the entire team, absolutely huge. And it's bought enough time for Zebbosai to get his EMP up as well, right in the midst of them, pops that one off. See if the follow-up is here from the rest of Misfits, doing a huge amount of damage, but they've got such tanky lineup here for Cloud9 that they're still taking their time to fall, chunking each other down, and applying a huge amount of healing was coming out from Roolf until right at the end there, but they've managed to wipe them again and reset.
So they have the Nano Visor ready to go too. Nevix is actually at 90%. He's going to have this one in just a few seconds. It comes down to, do they want to hold close or do they want to hold back? Because there's going to be no D.Va. There's nothing to stop Nevix from letting this Tactical Visor go off.
This is going to be massive if they manage to lock them out without even taking a tick on the first point here. See what Nevix can get done with Tactical Visor coming out from Nevix. This is a Nano Visor as well. The one from Surefour really didn't find anything. And in fact, Nevix picks up 3 in the back, just waiting for them to come to the point. And great Helix accuracy at the end to flick on the KAISER. Cloud9 tried their best, but Misfits managed to finally execute their composition, what they were aiming for the first time, and lock them out of the first point.
Yeah, we saw how much healing Mineral was actually negating, along with the EMP as well in that second engage. Is that Mineral had his ult, had his nano nano to go, but Roolf on Cloud9 had 40%, and he just couldn't do any healing with that bio grenade that come through, and an EMP just struggled. And actually, whilst Surefour did have his ultimate, they were just so far off kind of any form of really strong, aggressive attack that Misfits just playing it beautifully.
This is an adaptation. Cloud9 played the Pharah Mercy comp so well last time, with Surefour just out of his mind in terms of positioning and dodging Manneten on the Widowmaker, but this time they don't even want to take the risk. They don't want to appear to be predictable in any sense. Roolf switching over to the Zen, and they've got Surefour on Tracer. Misfits are going to begin still with the Widowmaker, it looks like, given what Manneten's on for the moment, but maybe once they see that they're playing into a 2-2-2 and Xepher can play a little more aggressively in their face, they might switch off. It's still actually pretty good at being able to pick up kills, though.
It's interesting to see. I think he might swap off quite quickly, knowing that they have such a strong dive comp with Monkey that can jump on him or Genji.
Considering they only need to get a third of the point, to me it's like, why not kind of play it? Because if you get that one pick, I mean, obviously you can play someone that you can get an ultimate up with the 2 minutes of time you have allotted, then use that. But if it gets one pick, it's a 6-on-5, and I mean, ideally that's a fight that you can win if you can just hit the shot. That's what it always comes down to as a Widow, if you can hit the shot or not.
I need healing.
We'll see whether he can hit the shot at the moment. Cloud9 not giving
High risk, high
any
reward
silent.
play.
They're all holding back on that top right-hand area. They are fully aware, I think, that Manneten has the sideline just over onto the side. The bubble placed, can't really find anything as Misfits engage with the rest of their composition, but they're essentially fighting 5v6 if they can't find that. Reinforcers fallen. They're getting a decent trade onto it, but still opening up the sightlines. That was a pick, though, for Manneten as he manages to kill Adam. That's a large amount of health removed from the pool. They're already ticking it up as well. They're halfway to a single tick. That's their win condition here. They only need 33%.
But what's so sick is he can sit here in this position, and as long as Misfits keep one person on the point, they have to fall to contester, right? So the position that they were holding from to stay away from the sightlines of Manneten just don't exist unless shields are up. And there you go. They're stuck into this corner. Easy picks for the rest of the team. Manneten gets the D-suit onto Xepher, and now Reinforcers are going to come back to try to protect Manneten, who's eventually going to go down. But with this amount of kills, with the run back time for Cloud9, that should be Misfits getting this map.
It definitely should be, and they've got ultimates to use if they need to. Nano Boost, Primal Rage coming online. Cloud9, are they anywhere near? Can they trickle in? It doesn't look like it, and that's going to be Misfits taking Temple of Anubis, their first map in this tournament as well so far. 1-2 in the series overall, but they will play the final map as well, so potential for them to get another one on the board. Every map so pivotal in this group stage, especially with the parity in Group B. They have no idea how well the other teams are going to perform, so it's super important to get as many maps on the board as you can in every single fixture.
Misfits just looking a lot stronger as well, I think, on that map. Just with their aggression, their confidence to go forward on first point or second point. They just knew that with the EMP, with the play that they have, going forward was their best option, and it played out beautifully for them.
Something that's interesting is that, I mean, the assault map there plays perfectly into Misfits' strengths, I think, of being a tactical team, versatile, they have a plan, they want to execute it, but it's a team that's stacked full of so much talent. The DPS duo, TviQ, Nevix, but they've been out-muscled in general. When it's been just a clean fight, or the engagements on the previous 2 maps before Anubis, Cloud9 have got the ability just to kind of power through them. Surefour and Gods have been outplaying, I think, their opponents on Misfits in terms of the raw damage, the aggression that they're bringing to the table. They've been getting more value out of those picks, I think.
Yeah, they definitely have, but one more map to go. We'll see what kind of confidence booster, gaining that one map, knowing that one map left to play, it's all to play for, and you actually go from that win, that confidence boost, and with how close they've been, I'm not sure what the map is yet, but we'll see. And I think
Going to my home country.
I think it's likely to be Route 66.
Yeah, my home country, Route
You know,
66.
with the
Are you gonna do it to me, Sideshow? Are you gonna say route or route?
Oh, it's Root.
route.
Route 66. Got it.
Route 66.
I mean, I'm the yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm kind of outnumbered here on the couch anyway. So Route 66 is what we're going to next. A standard payload map is our final map of the series. I honestly, even with that victory, I'm not really feeling too confident in the way Misfits played earlier on Hollywood.
No.
I think we saw a taste of what they can do on last point on Hollywood on their defense, but they need to do more of that. They need to be able to stabilize earlier on and actually use that aggression, knowing that they do have the confidence to move forward and take fights on their own terms. And look how well it worked out for them last point. If they can do more of that, it worked well for them on last point Hollywood as well. That's what they need. On defense, get that full hold on first, second point. Root now recently had a bit of a time increase, I think by a minute on the second point. So attackers do have more time on the second point of Route 66, but you have to make the other team work for every single meter that they want to get, and we'll certainly see how they change up their compositions. First point can be very, very different to last point. And look how open those two different areas are, and how contained the last point can be. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see Reinhardt v Reinhardt on that last point.
Yeah.
If either attacking team gets stuck, but we'll have to see actually what they end up playing and whether we'll see something quirky like a reset, but I doubt it.
I think definitely this map almost plays out in kind of two parts. You have the first and second checkpoint, and then the final warehouse area is very much kind of a single home run stretch, a bit like the last point on Hollywood or something like that, where you've got a very long sight line all the way down the warehouse. Very much favors the Reinhardt-centric compositions. And in general, Cloud9 have actually been playing better around those, and they've also had kind of better dive comms. Both of these two teams have got versatility in the hero pools to back it up across the board. I think Misfits have got a very good tactical mind for the game. In terms of the execution so far, though, Cloud9 seem to be out on top. Their individual players are outperforming them, even though the Misfits roster really is stacked with talent. They, right from the beginning, have seemed to fail to unlock what these guys were capable of on previous teams.
I mean, Cloud9's been even willing to just run the Genji Tracer, like the whole dive thing with that. Where Misfits has been going for more as Tracer Soldier. Yeah. And we haven't really seen the Genji combo out of Nevix really paired in with TviQ to really make something work for them in that sense. So I'm not sure if that's something they're not necessarily comfortable on, though I would assume coming into this in the boot camp they had for 10 days over at Too Good Studios, this should be something they can play, but they just haven't shown it just yet. Maybe they feel like they don't need to. I don't know.
Starting off with a Winston Diva, Anna for Misfits here. Yeah, the names at the top switched over. Threw me off for a second there, but it is Misfits. And
leaked here live on TakeTV. Cloud9's picking up Misfits.
You heard it here first.
6-man roster swap.
We've seen crazier things in Europe, so.
Misfits rounding the bend, though. This is the crunch time. Big choke point. Engagement coming out here from Misfits as well, as Reinforce tries to put position. Zebbosai's got his nano boost already, though, but a couple of players have fallen, and I think he would have liked to use it onto Reinforce there as well. Nevix has got the high ground potential for him on top of Big Earls, but difficult to really get too much damage when they've got that dome there, the bubble, the Winston shield to play around, and it looks like Misfits are slowly going to chunk their way through this one, especially with Gods, with that Dragon Blade at the end.
Wow, so God's picking himself up 4 kills, and we talked about him. I mean, this man, he originally was like a Widow McCree player, if you keep in mind, way back in the day, back when he was on NRG, and then he transitioned to being a tank player for Cloud9, and now transitioning back to playing more of a DPS kind of role. He's really started to show that he can excel at any role he's thrown at.
God's definitely popping off, but it's a very smart play by Misfits to actually just go aggressive on that point, knowing that they'd lost a couple of players, but actually Surefour taking very low here.
Yeah, it's kind of rough playing on top of Big Girls when there's a Widow on the enemy team and you have no Reinhardt to actually sit behind. And on Nevix, that's going to be easy kill onto Adam there. This Kaiser's going to be able to chain him back in, following him into that cavern.
That was a really good re-engagement from Misfits as well. They were able to push Reinforce really deep onto Surefour, push him completely out of that top tunnel. And then great use of the Nanovisor from Nevix to be able to get right deep into them, pick up a load of kills, and re-establish position on the defense. And now that they've got these high mobility compositions with neither team running for Reinhardt-centric comps, they can afford to recontest a lot more often. So scrappy engagements around this first point. Ultimates up as well, both tank ultimates for Misfits.
Reinforce getting very aggressive there.
The movement to the back, but does get focused down fairly quickly. Wasn't able to pop off his Primal Rage. And now Cloud9 are coming forwards. They're investing ultimates into this one. Primal Rage from KAISER's going to lock Nevix into the corner. No, I don't want to be stuck in big ults forever. But he'll be able to respawn. And Cloud9 with a win in this fight. But see, Misfits might still be able to re-engage. They lost players fairly early on, including their tanks. They've got the Primal Rage from Reinforce. If they want to dive back in, they could try and take a fight in this archway.
It could. I'm just concerned where Reinforce is. Actually, so he's right around the corner. He does have the opportunity to. He's going to pop this one down. Does barely. No! They do capture the point just in the nick of time before he gets there. Now that's a wasted ultimate.
Not even going to be able to stall it really anyway, because the payload tends to stop there as the doors open anyway. So a bit of a lost fight for Misfits. Slight mistiming from Reinforce perhaps, but I think he also got booed back by Adam. So perhaps a clutch Lucio play there.
Adam and Xepher, actually. Xepher just dashed into him. Knock him away.
Zephy's done that previously as well. When Reinforce jumped in, he actually booped him back into the Cloud9's team and actually gets him a free kill. Like, Reinforce not respecting that he can get booped and he can get put into a position that he doesn't want to be in.
Here's another boost. Winston coming out. Reinforce into the back. Really good against the Swishies. Huge amount of damage going to be poured out. They need some healing as well. Had to back off there. Really wasn't able to get as much as he could have done out of that nano boost. And Nevix was pressured as well, unable to take control of the high ground and deliver that tactical visor to full effect. Now, Cloud9, again, carrying on this momentum. They're not going to be stopped here.
I think that's actually a really smart play by Misfits by nano boosting the Monkey and Winston, because all you need to do is just get enough damage to force either Roolf or Adam to ultimate, and you've kind of won that 1v1 that trade, because Ana you can gain it so much faster than you can the Lucio sound barrier. So actually Misfits coming out potentially on top of that one.
Well, now they're being shoved into the area. They're going to be trying to come out from here in this cave, and eventually going to make their way through. The Transcendence going to be popped on a Roolf again. I think it's second or maybe even third of the game so far. Manneten does have the self-destruct ready to go, and with teammates falling left and right, with now 4 men now down, there's no point even waste this ultimate. Might as well save it to his final phase, and Cloud9 again. I mean, looking pretty solid into the second phase. Struggled a little bit on the first earlier on, but now 3 minutes left to go here to close this one out.
Kind of when they were playing in North America, Cloud9 always looked like the execution or the crispness, their cohesion was something that was letting it down. It doesn't seem to be here. They've either really worked on it or allowing themselves to, or Misfits rather, are allowing them to get really crisp engagements out. We see the Reinhardt come towards the end for both teams, making that switch over. Gods, after using his Dragon Blade, might even make the move over to the Roadhog as well, but he definitely wants to get value out of this ultimate.
Oh god, just gets to dash the Reinforce. Another blade coming in yet again here. Nevix will have the December to keep him alive, but God's just going to escape in the meantime. No kills with the Dragon Blade, really, but he doesn't die, most importantly, which causes Nevix to continually look in that direction of where he's going to be, and it'll allow Surefour a little bit more freedom to pick up a couple more kills.
Misfits have really struggled to stabilize at any point during this map. We might see the same as Hollywood, where they get down to the final moments and they're just able to hold it. They've got 2.5 minutes. Still potential for them to lock it out. They've got some big ultimates to work with as well. But so far, they just haven't been able to get the position. Whenever they try for the high ground, Gods has been having an excellent job along with Xepher of just denying it completely for them. Pushing them down onto the lower ground, forcing them to play in death ball styles, and really neutralizing Nevix a lot.
Attack Bryce coming out of Surefour here. Soundbear as well to keep him alive. And have a Transcendence pop defensive out of Misfits to make sure Nevix can stay alive here. Just waiting for him to actually pop his own visor, but he's got to be careful. KAISER still has that shield ready to go to mitigate most of the damage. And even that Trans being popped, they don't really commit anything else off the back. They get no kills, but KAISER dies as he's trying to Earth Shatter here. TviQ already gone down. And Reinforce has his own Shatter ready to go, but he's trying to hold on to it. They're trying to delay this point as long as they possibly can.
There's the Graviton up top. It does catch too, but they were on top of the truck. Really difficult for him to find value out of it, but Reinforced with the Earth Shatter does manage to pick up a couple of players. Perhaps more ults than they wanted to invest there. They shaved a minute off the clock and did win the fight, but they've kind of opened the door for Cloud9 in the last minute and a half. And they've got some decent ultimates to work with. This Nano Blade from Gods could get a lot of work done. He's been excellent at getting value out of them so far. And of course, KAISER Earth Shatters, they're deadly.
And they know there's no there's no sound barrier, there's no Transcendence, there's nothing to stop Gods and his ultimate here to close out this map.
Here it comes into the back at the same time as the Earth Shatter actually catches them onto the floor. Manneten was attempting to shield for a couple of his players, but Gods with the 4K, huge value out of him. He's been fantastic actually over on this Genji. I was kind of wondering what his performance would be like, but he is performing brilliantly alongside Surefour in this DPS duo. And now Misfits desperately have to try and stop them.
There's a nice shield to block this one from coming through. It's going to catch on to Manneten somehow, as he was desuited by Roolf. And then Reinforce is going to fall off the back of that. That's going to be it. Cloud9 with 3 kills there. Should close this out with 30 seconds left. They don't get put in overtime. And now, Misfits, I don't know. I want to feel really confident about them coming into this whole tournament, but Cloud9 are just walking all over them.
Yeah, Cloud9 definitely an unknown team coming into this because they haven't competed with this roster or really with any roster where they've had like the Swedish guys involved in an international setting. They've only been in North America competing against those kind of teams. And there really hasn't been a channel between the two regions where you can properly see what the level's like. I think a lot of people just assumed because all of the absolute elite level teams have been European or with European players that the overall level would probably be stronger over in Europe. But I don't think that's a reasonable thesis that holds up if Cloud9 end up destroying their opponents in the same way that they are getting the better end of Misfits here. If they continue throughout this group and it's not just a stylistic matchup, you got to really take into account the level of that team and the level of some other teams playing over in North America as well and give them the respect.
So I think one thing that we've seen out of Cloud9 that I know they've been working on, because I actually talked to Adam quite a bit about this, is that Adam's role in the team now more focuses on ult management of their team and the enemy team. And we've seen them take advantage of this time and time again by allowing gods to use these blades when they know there's no support ultimate to follow up with. Or when they do know, oh hey, they have a Transcendence, let's jump on top of him, make him use it, then allow God to actually excel and pop his blade down. I feel like that's something that Cloud9's been doing extremely well, where Misfits hasn't really been able to throw a counter to.
Definitely. They look like they have a plan for every fight, and they know what's going to be coming up. They know the opportunities where Gods is not going to be neutralized. And even with like just the raw focus fire out of Misfits isn't enough to be able to burst him down in those situations. Xepher occasionally guarding him with the defense matrix. It's just really good team play coming out from Cloud9 that I wasn't really expecting it to be at that level yet. But this team seems to have gelled really quickly with KAISER on board.
Is TviQ staying? Is he? No, he swaps. That's always something to look out for with TviQ. He can pick up that Hanzo. He's done it before.
And Surefour playing a defensive Widow here. So what's your thoughts on that, Sharjah?
With actually Misfits going Tracer Genji, not great.
Well, they do have the combo of the whole Mercy damage boost plus a Discord Orb, so they can kill 150 HP target by body shotting. It's just getting that shot off with there's so much terrain in the way. I'm not sure if he can really hit these shots.
Yeah, but it does force his Mercy to be pocketing Surefour. There's no other healing coming through for Cloud9, and Adam goes on straight away.
Yeah, the pressure as well from Reinforce and Manneten alongside the dive composition DPS players has forced them into really unfortunate situations. Adam's made the switch over as well. Started on the Mercy, now gone back to Lucio. Going to allow them to engage back into the fight a little easier. But Misfits are just picking them off at the moment. Probably a compositional read as well from Misfits that they're able to take that. But it was an interesting thought to start out Route 66 on the defense. They've certainly slowed them down, and they might actually be able to get back in now that they don't have the Mercy. They're certainly delaying for a long time.
I mean, KAISER's still there to contest the payload. He's got heals up as well from Adam. Switch it over to the Lucio so they get rid of the Mercy. And they've been able to actually stave off this attack here at Misfits. So have to go back to the drawing board and maybe switch some things up. But they do have TviQ with the pulse bomb almost up. They do have a blade out of Nevix. So we're finally seeing the dive out of Misfits that we wanted to see. This is what Cloud9's been running time and time again against them. And we've been wondering, why is Misfits constantly doing this Tracer and this Soldier? Let's see if they can finally pull off the dive comp to what we hoped to see.
They weren't able to focus down KAISER in that last fight as well. He stayed alive, managed to generate his ultimate, which could be deadly in this fight. They know that the infra site is active as well, so whichever venue they decide to attack, it's going to be completely read by Surefour. KAISER seeing if he can get value out of his ultimate there, pops it down, manages to catch 2 as well. Mineral onto the floor, 85% of his sound barrier, but that's going to be completely negated. And KAISER getting pressured down only on 24 health. But Misfits just don't have the players to be able to follow it up, it seems.
He had 4 HP and Reinforce is still alive. Why did he... I'm not sure what's going on there. That should have been a kill onto him, and somehow KAISER's still...
He has gone down eventually there.
Yeah.
Sound barrier also used, so a lot of ultimates being expended here from Cloud9, but they're still managing really to hold on. It's very tenuous between the two people, between the two players rather. Their grip on who's got control of the fight at any time seems to swing wildly, but Cloud9 have locked them out from taking checkpoint 1, and it's been a long time. They've only got a minute left on the clock.
I mean, to be fair to Misfits here, even though they're running such a heavy dive comp, it's still a lot of terrain to cover to get to Surefour. And while you're trying to cover that terrain, you take a lot of damage on the way there. The payloads, you know, it's relatively close to actually finish off his first point, but now with less than a minute to go here, Surefour, surely he's eventually going to go down. Finally, Reinforce is able to smack him back into the corner, and that's a 2-kill lead here for Misfits.
Again, being pocketed super well by Xepher. He is playing a fantastic diva for Cloud9. Just the synergy between him and the rest of his team, he always seems to be in the right place at the right time to avoid damage coming onto the crucial players. Surefour making the swap off as well. Doesn't want to play Widowmaker in the streets, but I think that tactic was relatively successful. They managed to delay that for a long time. Unlikely to be able to lock out Misfits for this first point, but it's about the wider picture. You know, now they only have 3 minutes to attack second. If they can delay here, they have less and less time to be able to complete the map.
Pulse Wing's going to come through, but the Trance is going to keep them alive. KAISER getting the kill on Manneten to use this aggression against him. But look at this. It's actually Surefour has been contesting the payload. So the entire time that Misfits has been trying to push aggressively and pick up kills, the payload has not been moving. So they've got no ground from this to allow Cloud9 to actually push up into this choke point where the door hasn't shut just yet and use this to their advantage.
All playing around KAISER's shield as well. God's making the switch off, so the team now running triple tank with the Zen. Able to get the high ground fairly easily in this particular stage while they watch Misfits make a little bit of progress with the cart. Nevix is actually flanking around the back left-hand side as well. This is the execute coming out from Misfits, investing ultimates. Nevix is in behind them, choosing his time to pop off this Dragon Blade, but there's also a possibility of the Earth Shatter, and he catches 2 of them. They're probably going to stay alive though, because Zebbosai used his Transcendence in the middle of that. A lot of damage here coming into Cloud9. A lot of ultimates used from Misfits, but it looks like they are getting the better end of the point.
Nevix with the Blade is able to get at least 1 kill off the back of that, with Zebbosai securing the kill on a Surefour. So a couple of men advantage, a couple stagger kills as well, as Zephyr's finally going to go down. And the payload's going to get a little bit further, but now it's look towards what do they have into this cavern. So TviQ, he's going to be the man to watch here. Zephyr, can he eat this pulse bomb with the defense matrix, or are Cloud9 going to come in from different angles? Are they going to come from this same cave, which I'm assuming if you're C9 you should not be doing, and they know they shouldn't be doing.
Reinforce with the Primal Rage here as well might get massive value out of it if he's able to pop it off. I mean, they've used the sound barrier as well. He's getting a huge amount of cleave damage. If at any point he chooses to use the Primal Rage, there's so he's flying. He's a flying gorilla.
Primal Rage now pops here. God's able to get the hook back in onto him, but just hooking him to maybe his own death. He's just trying to knock them off the payload. TviQ will get the kill to Surefour as Reinforce is still just trying to dance around with God's 70 HP remains. He's going to just leap away. In the meantime, the rest of the team's going to be there to help out. And Manneten, Nevix, and TviQ all close this one out. And there we go. Misfits get the second point.
Once they got the ball rolling, they felt like it was, the momentum is there. They're switching Reinforce over to the Reinhardt as well for this final stage. KAISER as well had already switched. So Reinhardt's such a compositions for both teams coming into this, but only 2 minutes on the clock for Misfits, and they must complete.
Yeah, the switch is a good switch from Reinforce. Like, he just used his ult. Great time to swap onto this last point. Doesn't lose any ult percentage, and now
Misfits have a chance. With the Dragon Blade as well, swishing it out. Discord Orb has been put onto KAISER, but he couldn't find the kill. The peel there, excellent from the rest of Cloud9, and they managed to keep a lot of players alive. Difficult for Misfits to get value out of their ultimates there, and Nevix is actually making the swap over after using that Dragon Blade to Diva. Triple tank composition, but with no Roadhog here for Misfits. A minute left to try and equalize the time that Cloud9 set on their offense.
Manneten, they'll switch to the Zarya, so they're looking for a big wombo combo to finish off this map, and the minute 20 remaining, they have to do it relatively quickly. They have a lot of distance to cover. KAISER towards the back to get the charge onto Reinforce, they butt heads, but he has his Earth Shatter ready to go. And look at Cloud9, 4 big ults to use here. As we do see Mineral and Zebbosai both with support ults, at least counter Gods, but with the way that Cloud9 have been baiting out these support ultimates, you have to be so careful here as Misfits. You need to close this game out. You have maybe, I want to say 2 solid attacks with maybe a scrappy straggle 1-by-1 in last attack. It's going to be damn tough here.
If they can find a good Earth Shatter here as well, they might force out the support ultimate from Adam, but it's the other way around actually. KAISER with one of his own, and they popped the Transcendence, but Mineral had already died, and Manneten falls as well here to the Nano Genji as God comes in with his Dragon Blade, and they are tearing Misfits apart. 30 seconds now for them to complete and have a chance at getting a second map for them.
All right, so Reinforce, it's all on you, man. Shower Gel, for the situation, how crucial is him to hit this Earth Shatter?
It's very crucial. He has to get something more than a even Ryan. He needs to be able to get Gods or Surefour. If he can get Roolf and Adam, that's going to be the key targets that he wants. he cannot afford to just hit KAISER with his ultimate, and if he hits the shield, that's going to be devastating.
Oh, he gets the knockaway.
Does get Adam in the back, Gavin.
In the back, see if he can get value from this dive from TviQ at the end here into overtime for everybody. 99% from Manneten. If he can avoid throwing it into Zephyr's arms, then this could be pivotal for them. They've got it. The Graviton did it catch anybody? It did. It's caught a couple of players. Zephyr in the middle of that though, but it's a nano boost over the top from Gods as he tries to apply a lot of damage. Misfits getting the picks though, and they've managed to demeg Zephyr. This could be the clutch from the Swedes.
Gods is at 80%, 90% now. If he could just get his ultimate online, thing is he has not a lot of HP to work with here. The payload is still moving. Someone's gonna have to contest it. Friendly comes in. Gods goes down as his Dragon Blade was almost online here. Manneten is still doing so much damage here from the side as Reinforced close to another Earthshatter. KAISER had he just had it up and he tried to get it up and he got picked off last second, and finally Misfits will cross the line in overtime and have a minute remaining.
How did they manage to do that one? Utterly clutch that they're able to take that away. Manneten gets his ultimate just in the final moments. Then Gods is just about to reply and they manage to take him down. Manneten again finding the pick there. And then KAISER has the Earthshatter, could have potentially delayed. They just get him as he gets his ultimate online and drops his shield to initiate. Real clutch plays coming out from Misfits there to keep their dreams of taking a 2-2 in this series alive.
Still doable. You know, we've seen kind of happen in different maps as well as Route 66, where a team has 1 minute or 1 minute 30 seconds and they actually push the entire way through. So
sounds like my rate games, except it's not me pushing the entire way through, it's the other team doing that to us.
So both teams will not think, oh yeah, we've got 30 seconds, we can win this, this is in the bag. You know, that 30 seconds does give you that extra push for Cloud9, which is crucial, especially when Ultimate's going to be coming up just around that time.
So if you're the situation, Shower Gel, do you want to go, if you're the defending side here for Cloud9, do you want to attack right away and try to lock them for pushing payload at all, or do you want that really good fight around the bend?
I'd say you fight much further up. We saw Rogue do it yesterday actually, and they fight right around the entrance so that they get as many fights possible on this first point. You know, they have the spawn advantage when the cart is right next to the actual kind of finishing line on this first checkpoint, and by not holding forward, you lose a fight. So it's interesting to see, and you do give up a lot of position, and it is a lot harder to pull off when you're running tank compositions. You know, Rogue running dive it's a lot easier to make it work.
Cloud9, they're just giving up the position right at the front, at the very least, making sure that they have a bit of an established defense on top of Big Earls. The question is, when do they choose to drop down and initiate? KAISER and Surefour are going to be the guys to watch, see where they end up splitting off when they drop down alongside Xepher and try and contest this one. Misfits are getting a lot of ground for free here. We have seen teams with only a minute on the clock hold way closer than this on Route 66. So even this is looking decent. If they can win a fight, this will also be fantastic. Cloud9 at the moment look a little unsure of when they want to drop, when they want to initiate, but they're going for it now.
Dude, eventually here, Reinforced is going to be looking for that 1v1 against Surefour. He's about half HP, but 80% on his ultimate already. TviQ has gone down to a charge out of KAISER, and no one's even on the payload. Misfits showing Cloud9 how to pull themselves, and they don't continue to push the payload further as they lost too many men.
C9, lol?
Yeah, I don't...
that look says it all.
That's got to be a big gutting from Misfits. To be fair, I think they were getting the worst end of the fight anyway. They had traded both of their tracers, and they have faster spawns, but that would have been still a difficult one for them to regain control of, I think. They didn't quite get the initiation they wanted to, and Cloud9 played that fairly well. I mean, having said that, they gave up a ton of
exactly,
root.
They got a terrible initiation. It was a terrible fight for them. But the fact they got that far around Big Earls, kind of shows that Cloud9 gave a lot of ground for maybe no reason.
And I think Misfits are the kind of team that will hold really far up. They want to play in the optimum possible compositions, you know. They're the kind of team that have the flexibility on their team, that they don't want to play to their own style, I think. They just want to play what they consider textbook Overwatch. And I think in their minds, holding aggressively, at least maybe not right outside the spawn, but at least around the first bend, and trying to hold it maybe even before it comes around the first bend will be their aim here. It's also really interesting to me, actually, that they've got Zebo on the Ana rather than the Zen, because if they want to try that aggressive style, he would surely be better off on the Zenyatta, but perhaps they want kind of a blend of the two with Zebo a little further back.
I mean, that kind of speaks to me that they want to hold the first corner here. They want to be able to put both Reinforce kind of on the front line and keep him alive, but
wait,
for the first time, they are running triple DPS.
I was going to say, if they're going to hold that corner and let them come to them, then they're pretty much giving up this entire map. But They're going to finally push back out. They're on top of the payload here. KAISER with the Reinhardt trying to provide that frontline cover they need with the help of a shield, which is Oilo and HP. TviQ as well, finally on the Genji. Finally we're going to see this man playing the Genji, or the Gengu, that's how you want to call it. But so far, no kills coming through just yet. Just a really big skirmish.
But a lot of stalling, and they can recontest this point anytime they like. They're into the back lines as well. The supports of Cloud9 have actually committed out of the doors, but they're managing to turn it anyway. God's getting a lot of damage out, I think, and KAISER keeping that front line really strong. Got the biotic grenade coming in here from Zebbosai, but this is the advantage of holding forwards. They should be able to recontest before that payload actually reaches the yellow checkered box. Cloud9 aiming to group up on the cart as well, just baiting them towards them. They've got the position that they want. They're aiming to push it as fast as they can, ×5 on the payload as well. Misfits have got to be fast if they want to take this engagement, but they do have an opportunity for 2 fights because they took that one so aggressively at the start.
This pulse bomb, Manneten, if he can just hit this with them groups on the payload, this could be huge. This actually could save the map here for Misfits. We can see him trying to go in, trying to look at the avenues. He's been forced to recall because he has no HP left. He's still looking for maybe KAISER just to stick this one too. He's gonna, oh, if he stuck that, he charged in his own team. That could have been the downfall of Cloud9. And now TviQ popping this blade down with no nano boost to use, as we do see a Boostio in the mix of this one. It is hectic.
Oh, the hook onto Nevix as well when he had his tactical visor up top. They've got the nano boost onto the Primal Rage Winston as well, but players are falling left, right and center for Misfits. This cart is going to continue moving forwards. Reinforce was the only player there, and Cloud9 are going to complete the map. On Route 66, take 3 maps in their first series, and they look strong to start out TakeOver 2 as the only real North American team here. Fantastic showing from them. KAISER looks happy with
got
himself.
A high five there. Yeah. I think they could be very happy with that result. I mean, coming in and beating a team as well known as Misfits, the caliber of players they were against, really showing that the practice and the time they have had have been put to work. And now Gods, I think he got 3 out of 4 play games.
I've been so impressed with Gods, actually, because I felt
wait a second on that, because he's about to walk out. And then he can really,
yeah, I don't want to inflate his ego.
So what were you saying about Gods?
Really bad player, didn't really perform. No, he has actually been fantastic. Yeah, he was a bit of a question mark for me because I don't think he's particularly known for his Genji. He played it a little bit with Cloud9 when they were in Apex as well. Previously on teams, he's been kind of more of the hit scan role, and you've got such powerful kind of Genjis at this tournament in general that, you know, I mean, you're playing into TviQ and Nevix, but neither of them were able to get the same kind of performance. You know, maybe that's something to do with the team synergy, how they're setting him up. They did give him a huge amount of resources, to be fair. Often had the nano boost, the Zarya he was either playing with or Xepher going to be peeling for him, but you got to give him credit because he was really able to make the impact when it mattered.
The number of double kills, triple kills, quadruple kills that you managed to get with those Genji plays, and I think overall, yeah, if you want Genji to be able to get that kind of amount of success on with his blades, you have to give him the support that he needs, even if that's just a healing orb or a Discord orb or an Ana just healing him from the backline. It just gets so much more out of the ultimate, and I think that's something that Cloud9 overall were huge at doing. They got so much effectiveness out of every single ultimate they did. They put Misfits under so much pressure that they were forced to use more ultimates than they would have liked.
So I look at the way that Gods was playing the Genji, and obviously he played, you know, Genji phenomenally. I still want to give the credit to Adam, though, to actually make those plays work because of his knowledge and his understanding of when ultimates were ready to go and when they weren't. Without knowing that, throwing Gods in with the Nano Blade when there's a Transcendence does you nothing.
Yeah, I feel like Cloud9 before, it seemed like they always had the right idea of what they wanted to do, but in the moment, they didn't really feel to engage it. Oh, hello. We're going to be joined by KAISER as well for a bit of a post-game interview. Get yourself down here. So...
yeah, you have to give him the mic.
Yeah, there you are.
It's like you have a mic on your headset.
So, you guys coming into this tournament had really not had that much time for you to gel into the roster yourself. What's it been like moving over from Korea and blending into Cloud9?
It's not done much. Just getting adjusted to jet lag, and that's all.
What's the difference like then in terms of playing with Runaway in Korea and playing and scrimming over in North America and now in Europe with Cloud9? There are differences in how you have to play as well?